Good evening. It is January 26, 2017. Welcome to our Conservation Commission meeting. Are there any changes to the agenda?
We can bail on 100-0130. You
Great.
can scratch that.
Scratched.
And however it is that you'd like to add the issue of the bylaw as a something, or is it something else?
Well, actually, do you have the responses? Let's put it right after the responses to the RFP.
All right.
I would accept a motion to approve the agenda as written.
As amended.
As amended?
So moved.
Well, I meant written because I wrote it. Right on it. All in favor say aye. Aye. Excellent.
So nobody's here, but we can actually probably deal with the final item on the public hearing stretch.
Also, we
118 Sandy Pond?
Yeah.
Okay.
we do have 4 sets of minutes.
What?
We're behind.
How can that be? Wow. All right. Why don't we... Good evening, sir. Why don't we do that COC really quickly? So
basically, the file, there's nothing for me to inspect.
okay, where is 118 Sandy Pond Road?
That is, so you know our new conservation easement that AJ has set up,
Yes.
and that U shape to it. And
Yes.
So right there on the south and east corner,
Okay.
the abutting parcel. There's
So-
3 homes over there. And the 3 of them were built
Oh,
at the
okay. So
same
there's
time.
3 houses, one with the brand new fence that the guy just rebuilt and put in painted white,
Just on Sandy Pond.
on Sandy Pond Road. So as you're headed toward Cowley's driveway,
Okay.
there's that ranch on the left. But before that, so as you're coming along, there's the ranch, Cowley's driveway, there's a little section of swamp, and then there's like 3 houses in a row.
Oh,
I don't even remember who built them. It was probably around 19...
So it's
1998,
after that little
1999.
swamp area.
Yeah. So it's after the new house that they just built.
On the left.
Then there's a wetland on the left, then there's a wetland area, then there's 3 houses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
which one of those 3?
so those 3 all went in at the same time.
Oh,
And the builder got the COC set up for 2 of them, and it just missed the 3rd. And the way the file is written, it just says, like, there are wetlands, we won't go in them, and at the end, the engineer will provide a letter and that kind of thing. But I couldn't even go out to inspect it. There's no meat to it.
this would have been about 5 years before I joined. Were you on then?
No.
Okay. Are you just saying that? Go to the record.
But this was Mr. Cornelia.
Oh.
And
Ed Cornelia built this houses?
the Sandy Pond Investment Trust.
Oh, sweet fancy Moses. I
And
didn't know
so
that.
he came in and we had a chat about some of his other odds and ends kicking about. And yeah. So
You see why this means it never gets to be 45 minutes? Okay, so,
But that's a formality. As far as I
okay,
can
so
tell.
there's nothing on here.
I didn't write it in because
Okay.
I didn't want to presume. But from my perspective, I can't even say I did or didn't do something because there's nothing written up to do.
Okay, so what you're saying is that there are only a couple things we can check. It's either a complete certification, the work regulated by the above order of conditions has been satisfactorily completed. Was there a work order of conditions?
There was an order of conditions.
Okay. So based on that order of conditions, can you say that everything that was listed in that for work is done?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the plan that was approved, as part of that, the house was built sort of according to that?
I mean, I did a drive-by, and without like pulling out a measuring tape, there's a house there.
Okay.
That's what they conditioned.
All right.
The only thing you would be forgiving is him going to Ross to get, the official cover letter from an engineer saying it was built according to spec.
Was that required?
That was special condition 4.
And we don't have that?
No, because it just wasn't done.
We should get that.
We should get that. Does anybody have any strong feelings about that?
I defer to George.
I know.
Are they closing on the house
I know how this
tomorrow,
works.
or what?
No, it's just,
If there's no rush, then I would say we'll...
all right, so
when we
when he
get
comes
that,
in, you can, all right.
Yeah, we'll get the letter. Okay. So
That was easy.
pending letter. All right, we have 3 minutes. Trevor Trail. RDA.
The one in front of you.
Okay.
And basically what this is a house that was already pre-conditioned as part of the project in a general way, and these are the actual specs on where they want to put the house and what they want to do with it.
Okay, I can tell you that I'm going to, obviously tonight is the hey howdy hey. This is just an RDA?
Yeah. The limit of work moves, and so essentially it's the line within the buffer has shifted, but there's no new impacts to wetlands.
So is the house itself in the buffer
Yeah.
zone? Isn't that a notice of intent?
Yeah.
Well, right, but it was conditioned as part of the whole thing when you put in the whole road for the Riley Jane project.
I think that's just, isn't that infrastructure? Because like.
Yeah,
we
typically the,
At this point, I'm just sort of speaking for them at this point. That's their argument.
that'll be interesting later on.
All right.
In the past, infrastructure is a NOI and the houses are NOIs.
Mhm.
So if it's in the buffer, then it's an NOI. Okay. Why don't we go to our 7:15? We have our applicant here for DEP file number 100-0397. Shang, good evening.
So I guess, so from the last time, what's left is to do a sidewalk. So we did it Saturday, and then Brian and I missed a little, but we communicated. I did go there, I brought the one, I look at it, flag, actually the ones need to move, it's already off the property line. So only one flag was number 24, it moved 3.5 feet. So,
No, it was right. 3 feet.
Yeah, it's, well, that's what, you estimated 3, it's close enough.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody can get anything better than that for measuring, so, and I had the surveyor pick it up and put on this small plan, and because he couldn't make it here, so he emailed me if it's okay, I can send it over as the condition to, to close it. And Brian fear from this point downstream, because of lacking of vegetation, so he don't feel to do it, but we can put a condition, we don't have to, because there's nothing going on this side. So the one we're concerned about, so that's already agreed. And this section is very clear cut, on this steep slope, there's not, from this point to this section, that's fine.
So you folks got to walk that area.
Yeah, Deshang was parked in the Willows while I was out there. I parked where the trucks park. And I was like, I'll just see him out there, I guess. And I got like 4 voicemails on the desk phone when I came in. And yeah, so, like Deshang said.
It's not that big.
I know. Because I saw, like last time, waiting near that house, I was waiting there.
We're getting you an air horn. All right, so
yeah, this bound, the southern bound from the dam down, I wasn't entirely confident with doing that. Didn't, the vegetation would have helped, but that's not really what this is in front of us because of.
no, I would have no problem if we noted in our conditions that we believe that that side can't be adequately determined at this time.
Right.
It obviously doesn't matter to you,
Right.
but
The discussion that Shang and I were having had to do with defining the bank, because one of the ways it's thought about is separating the waterway from its floodplain. And because this is ponded behind that dam, do you call the floodplain this flat, very short, shallow area,
at this moment, yes.
right? Or do you call the floodplain the trailer park?
I'd call it the flat, shallow area that's down there that's flooded, and then I think, again, and I didn't have a chance to do this afterwards, we should discuss it later, we just want to send information about that to to our circuit rider.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
there's one, actually, I did check in on this too, so from whatever the flooded water, I measured it out, so this section the ponded area is exceeding 10,000 square feet per the Wetlands Protection Act definition. If it's more than 10,000 square feet, it's defined as a pond. So
Mm.
right now, technically, this area, this is right now is pretty much at the annual high water right now because it's controlled by the dam. So it means this section, we don't have to define as a bank for the river because it's a pond. So it meets the definition of pond. It's like about 14,000 square feet. So
Based on that, do you have thoughts about the 200-foot outer riparian zone, or are we comfortable leaving the outer 200-foot riparian zone where it is?
I think it's comfortable because I think it's probably in long term it's beneficial to restore this. We did pick it up. This year was kind of I'm not say fortunate, but give us the opportunity to see the dried up pond. So
Right.
we actually picked up the original main channel. So in that case, I think if you put this dam, kind of fall apart, get breached out, this will restore to that level.
Okay.
So that's what I think.
As long as we're on the same page with that.
Yeah.
So
Right. So if you keep it, then you will not. Sorry.
the page we're on is that the stream is still the stream and the outer riparian zone is the controlling factor.
Right.
So as long as the 200-foot outer riparian zone, as it affects the stream, stays in place, then the pond definition for that area is important, but doesn't have any effect on the lots that would be placed
Right.
on the right of the property.
Right.
So we're effectively saying that the 200-foot outer riparian zone is to be respected
Right.
because if there was no dam, the stream would be there anyway.
Right. Exactly. So
And hopefully there'll be no dam there at some point.
right.
More because of a safety thing than anything.
Right.
Just at some point it could create a hazard. So
Right. Right. Yeah. I don't see a big of an effort to breach that. You don't need a big one. So to breach enough section. Maybe a couple of people with a jackhammer can hold.
get it out before the beavers figure it out.
So do we want the dam, are we saying we want the dam gone?
What we're saying is that we want to report it to our circuit rider so that she can then work with Pond and Dam to figure out what the appropriate thing to do is.
Right.
Yeah, Pond and Dam. With the dam committee. No,
The dam.
Dam safety.
dam safety.
They can inspect it if they deems. So it is better to restore it for the ecology and for the public safety. I don't think there's any big. It's not going to be a big effort in my view.
No, I
Unless
think it'd be
they want
easy and
housing.
done and be done. And again, it would prevent. It just stops right across the street, literally right across the road from there is where the state pulled out that big beaver dam
Right.
that had backed up all the water down all the way behind Bennett's Brook.
Right.
And
Yeah.
imagine if they had done this, then it would continue to back up all the way back under the road.
Right.
The other side was a problem for the road because it was stored energy behind it. This could back up and actually undermine the road by bringing the water level up.
The road's in awful shape, though. That culvert is totally.
Oh no, I'm talking about the highway.
Oh, two.
Yeah,
No.
backing all the way up back to 2A,
Right.
Yeah.
which would, if you think about it, if you're the state, that's a bigger deal.
Yeah.
So it's important that we bring this up and say, there's an issue. Please give us some guidance on how to go forward with this.
Right, exactly. Yeah, if this one happened to be the high water, you have a beaver dam giving up, and the snowball into this point, it
Right.
can be. It's a moderate risk in my view. So and then that culvert is not, perfect either. So
No, that culvert's quite
yeah,
inferior, maybe is a fair word, but
right. Yeah, all the
That
culverts
road
are
gets
pretty
an
long.
astounding amount of heavy traffic.
Yeah.
It would be bad if that lost.
Yeah, you can tell. It's not big enough to
no,
some degree.
it's like on the downside, the water is like 4 or 5. But anyway, we digress.
Right.
So, right now we have before us and ANRAD. We agreed with the flags that we saw. You agreed with the flags that you saw?
Yeah, bearing
Okay.
in mind that discussion about floodplain and such, and you guys are happy using the ponded area, calling that the floodplain because the dam will come down. So the point I was going to raise is move before I raise it. So yeah.
The only thing, as we just discussed,
If I can give you the numbers.
Yes, that would be great.
The section, we don't, at this point to keep it as like determined, is S1 to S14 and the B1 to B14. at the section we did accurately.
I appreciate that. So that's going to be our cutoff. So we accept I would accept a motion to accept the abbreviated notice of resource area delineation for DEP file number 100-0397, accepting the area that we have discussed as not being confirmed in the field, flags S1 to S14 and flags B1 to B14.
So S1 to S14 and B1 to B14 are the areas we did not confirm.
Did not confirm, not confirmed under this delineation.
So does that mean, Takashi, help me out here. Do we want to modify? As opposed, there's accurate, inaccurate, and modified as our check boxes.
Did you move any flags?
We didn't. We just agreed that those were inaccurate in a manner of speaking.
Yeah, actually, there's one flag was.
Oh, this one's modified,
Yeah.
Okay.
and these are left hanging.
So,
Yeah.
or modified, whatever that flag number is. You
Yeah,
stay
actually,
with it.
I have one smaller version, have it here, I can leave it here, but I can have a running, so to show you the full scale. If you want to, you can reference
So-
this one, it's a 24N was,
Was modified.
yes, was already notified.
Well, I'm just thinking, in terms of how to do it right.
Yeah.
If we determine as accurate flags here through there, modify this one and inaccurate for those flags, or is that just a lot of bother?
We're not saying inaccurate. We're saying we're only confirming
Didn't confirm.
the ones that the first ones you sort of.
Yeah, we're confirming the 3/4
Yeah,
circle.
we're confirming those and we're modifying that one.
Right.
And that's all you put in.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, because we just didn't confirm.
And
It may
if
be
you want to
okay.
just be clear, you can say did not confirm the other the S114, B114.
So then the flags that we are confirming are what?
A1 to A23, and it was 24 moved 3 feet, 3.5, 3.5 feet.
You got that, Brandon?
A1 through A23 confirmed.
Right.
Modify
A24.
A24.
3.5 feet up.
What happened to the 24N?
Yeah, the 24N is the new one.
Okay, so A24
Right.
becomes,
24N, right. In the field, I did mark it.
okay.
And then are we confirming beyond 24N, like
No.
A25 and around?
No, that one is off the property. They didn't even survey it that way. If you look at it.
Oh, so
originally
you flagged it, but they didn't do them.
Right, they
And
say it's off
then-
the property. They didn't.
What are we confirming on the south side?
The south side is from, actually, from,
Yeah, probably from
right,
there.
yeah, from B14 to B32, or B33, and S14 to S32, no, S33, because each one is
Mhm.
correspondent.
B14 to B32 and S14 to S33 are additionally
B33.
confirmed.
No, B33.
Oh,
they
sorry,
also-
B33.
Right,
Those
yeah,
are,
that's are confirmed.
So S14 was part of,
Yeah, actually, maybe, we
Yeah,
may want to
S15.
modify, because the S14 is pretty steep bank. I think it's unconfirmed should stop at 13, but that's a flat out.
I guess I'm just comfortable talking about the flags we were actually able to see, the areas we were able to see. We didn't walk those other areas, but they're inconsequential to your application. So
Right.
as long as they're inconsequential, I'd just rather say we didn't scrub them.
Right. Yeah,
Right.
we just didn't conform.
I just want to make sure that
So
gets
Oh, yeah.
You check A and B.
right.
For A, you would list the ones that you just tallied, and for B, you would list that one that was moved. And then that's it.
And then we're not negating those, we're just leaving them out of the.
Right.
Okay.
so we're not including B14 to B33 or S14 to S33.
Right.
Because we're not confirming, we're just saying they're inconsequential.
No, I think you
No.
just went the other way.
Okay.
S1 to S.
S1 to S14
Right.
And B1 to B14 are unconfirmed.
Right.
Everything else,
Yeah, actually, we're trying to have change it to 13, the unconfirmed, because the 14 is on a steep bank of that dam. So
that's fine.
The unconfirmed is the B1 to B13 and the S1 to S13. And
The other area in the 30s, that was the area that we were talking about that is confirmed. It was coming back around the mountain as she comes.
So sorry, Deshang. B14.
No.
I'm starting the confirmation now. B13 is
Thank
the
you
end
very
of
much.
unconfirmed, and
That's
B14
right.
is starting.
B14 is a start. Otherwise, we have an overlap. So whether that frame number is confirmed or not confirmed is confused.
Okay.
Yeah, but looking at it, it's like right at the dam, so that very steep section, that one is.
So to be clear, Brian, do you have what you need?
Yeah, one more detail. Because of the flag that we're moving, A24 that becomes 24N, because are we considering that a pond? Or are we going to consider that BVW?
BVW,
Okay.
yeah, because it
We assume it'll turn into BVW
Yeah, it's
eventually.
still BVW. Yeah,
Either way it is.
Bordering the
And
pond.
if they restore the stream, then maybe
Okay.
Right.
come up at some point.
Right.
Let's face it, it's an artificial pond.
Yeah.
Right, it is, yes.
The ponding there is not supposed to happen. And at some point won't. Hopefully in controlled circumstances.
Right. Yeah, if it's a pond, you can also have a BVW.
Yeah.
Because a pond is a resource defined.
Right, just be edge of bank and
Yeah,
that's
you have to be bigger than
Right.
10,000 square feet, each one. It happen to be.
just right on the edge of, I assume.
Yeah, 20%, 22
Okay.
bigger. So have him drop the revised plan.
Right, so for clarity's sake, you're going to take these notes in red and then you're going to type this?
Sure.
I just think it might be helpful. Okay. So, based on our prior discussion and based on our site walk, we identified that the flagging in the areas where it was most important is accurate and adequate. The final top southern portion was walked by Deshang and Brian, and a segment from S1 to S14 and B1 to B14 or S13 was determined to be not confirmed flagging. I would accept a motion to approve the abbreviated notice of resource area delineation for that area.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Deshang.
I still need to wait, I mean, unless I need to wait for the, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
You got a vote?
And as we act on this, please make a note for yourself. This is the thing that we want to reach out to the circuit rider, especially now that you've been there. Did you get to take any photos when you were there?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Send her the pictures of that dam.
Yeah, and we were talking about our other hemlock issue.
Thank you.
So I wanted to do one thing at a time in a manner of speaking.
Thank you, sir. Absolutely. Where's the hemlock issue? Oh, Hemlock Drive?
Yeah. Not hemlock tree, hemlock road.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Hemlock Drive?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we've got some clarity on that now.
Is that our area with...
Of perpetual conversation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
All right. So now that we're done with that, why don't we... Thank you, Deshang. Why don't we reopen our public meeting for the ANRAD for DEP file number 100-0398.
You doing that? Are you just doing the...
Kind of. I'm willing to listen to your questions. I might have some answers. Come on.
All right. Well, we didn't have all that many questions when we were out there.
Right. When I brought up to Cal that he was on the agenda for this, he said, "Oh no, I remember that there was a flag missing. Something about A25 or something like that. That was right at the tip of a culvert."
Yeah.
And he was confused on whether or not he needed to get you revised plans or if it was fine the way it was.
Well, I think from the aspect of the ANRAD, I wouldn't, I guess, I wouldn't have a whole problem saying that that was an unconfirmed flag and needed to be restated in the future for any further application, that would be fine if that works for you guys, or we can continue and get a new plan.
He's fine with getting you a plan. I don't
Okay.
think there's a rush, so if it's cleaner to make a revised plan, then we can.
I think it's better for everybody. If you were in a rush, then, we'd do it and it would be the hanging chad for the future.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, I was out there today though, and I've got some issues to bring up on that.
Oh, okay.
So I went out with.
Hold on a second. There are some issues.
I heard.
After you, sir.
So I went out, and I brought the soil borer, and sort of, if you can envision the space, how the wetland flagging comes up to the old Harbor Road.
Mm-hmm.
That stretch, as you're walking in, there were some spots that, I would have some questions about on the soils that felt like maybe like 3 to 5 feet generally the lines. There were a couple that came up as, dry, and definitely not wetland, but there were a few that came up where I would have questions. But considering the weather we've had lately and the amount of soaking that's happened, it could easily be, timing and circumstance just made the soils, look different. Just put that. And then after Half Moon Road, and then it sort of jogs back out. I didn't have any trouble with that until I got out actually beyond the property line. When I came back into the office and looked at the flags and the numbers, there's a wetland back there that was flagged that hooks way back up and runs along the property line. And so...
Do you have the plan?
I thought I did. I don't have it right here.
I don't have
I
it either.
drew on it upstairs and apparently left it there. And it just... So here, just off the map, the wetland flags actually hook up and in and come up to the road, where you see the road drawn here. So this wetland flagging actually goes out and up, right? And so because of that, I don't know how much of this is going to be jurisdictional, because it's not shown, off parcel.
Isn't that where that big giant tree?
Yeah, I think
And
I think the big giant tree was right here, because we did walk around those flags,
Yeah.
and so we did have a chance to look at those flags, but we were just looking at the flags that were on the property. That would be important based on a future discussion for the property.
Well, right, but if we're going to be delineating the wetland, we're creating the jurisdictional space, and so if this is jurisdictional, or anything here because of what's over there, it should probably be here.
Well, so let's step back. So notice that there's no 100-foot buffer line on here, right? So the point of the ANRAD is to determine where the flags are on the property.
Right.
So we've analyzed it for the property. Now let's say that they came back and they wanted to put a house on this line. Then they would need a new delineation for that. And that would include that land that was off the property. So if there was a resource off the property. So we've had that issue in a couple of places where...
Is that been filed?
There were flags that, the numbers continued, so whoever went out and did it just didn't know where the line was.
Did you
kept
ever go
going.
back there?
I don't even know what this is.
Okay. So transfer station, this
Yep.
is transfer station's up here.
Yep.
Come down the road, you drive under the power lines.
Yep.
You can park over here.
Yep.
This is where the road just starts to come and turn up the hill.
Yep.
This is not marked in any way. I can't remember, was there a break in
There's a
the
break in the...
barriers? It's clearly a paper street. I hate that expression. This road continues in here. There is a way to veer off, but it would involve crossing off the property. This comes over here. This property way back here is a gentleman who built this set of houses over here. This comes in like this, and as we discussed with Cal, obviously the only reason to do this RDA, this resource delineation, was in order to figure out how to get access back to this parcel back here. So
So these flags came around.
they did.
Yeah,
That's
so
all flagged up and behind.
Probably located them They just didn't show.
Well,
Because, like, as you said, the NRED's just for this property.
right. It just defines this property. It's not defining what you're planning to do on
I'll
it.
point that out to them, that if we file a notice of intent here, that this is confirmed, and this would have to be re-looked at the notice of intent process, whereas that line would be.
Right.
Yeah.
So as you know, we've had this issue in the past where perhaps the other property owner wasn't friendly to access and flagging. If that were to happen, then we'd have to come up with some kind of other way. I don't think that's a problem here, but if it happened, it would be, that's
Yeah.
how we would deal with it.
But then the thing you've got circled here, I do have questions about, like, maybe this should be more like in here, like just a smidge in or out, depending on.
Well, it's interesting you say that because right about here is where Mr. Crossman caught up with us, if I remember correctly. And we took several samples along this path and found that he was actually pretty conservative. So
Okay.
if you took some samples, did you take photos of your samples?
No, because soils, funny things.
So if you, that would probably be a good place to talk to him if you had some questions about it. But when we were there, we actually had him take samples, and we found that his flagging was actually farther up by at least a couple feet.
Well, right,
So-
like I said, sort of with the weather, with the wet, I'm, feeling the soils and, going for organics and, wet and all these other little things. And I'm not a soil scientist, so I could probably be fooled by the weather. But the other detail that I had was that you guys saw this drainway here.
Yes, we did.
Shouldn't that be?
Well, again, it's not on this property, but
so
it would
the
be part
property
of
line
the,
is.
right there.
Mm,
So, a future application, and this was discussed at length during the site visit, a future application will have to somehow deal with this, which is clearly a very big deal.
so he's going to need 2 more ANRADs?
No, he
What
would need,
notice of
so
intent?
under his notice of intent, he would show those other areas. It would be a composite. So under the notice of intent, that has an effect. So let's say that he planned to put a road right where the old road is. Everything that is that about that construction project that has any effect on regulation, whether it's our regulations for a flagged area, even if it's off the property,
Mm.
zoning, anything that he has to do with any of that as far as the width of the road, et cetera, all those things would have to come together for him to present a design. And then he would come to us and he'd say, here's how we want to put the road in, here's what we have to deal with on these areas, this is how we're going to deal with it. And by the way, during our NOI walk, obviously we'd be standing there and we'd say, what's that?
Yeah.
Now, we've already had that, so we've already identified that this is a real
Mm-hmm.
path, and we know that it's wet on the other side in the back. Fair enough. So,
Question on these, did you confirm these? Did you look at them?
when we walked them, we made sure that we had an idea of when we were at the property line. There were, I can't remember, was there an orange stake there?
There were lots of
Yeah.
colored.
Yeah, well, there were a lot of orange stakes, but they were surveyor's marks.
Yeah.
And at one point, Cal said, I think you're past the property.
Right.
So we felt comfortable that we did it by this flag number,
Okay.
whatever that last flag
I
was.
guess I was asking if I'm gonna show you a revised plan,
We-
and you already looked at it, would you?
Well, I've got
Yeah, all right, what you-
when I was out there today, and there's water that goes beyond where the flagging is. That's off the map. So if let's just say you put the flagging to here, it's actually like I would question maybe putting it up there because there was standing water.
So there's questions about what's not shown.
Yeah.
So we won't.
I think the end all be all is that we effectively stopped at the last flag. We walked around that other area so we could get back around to see the last flag. There was no easy way to get to it.
Yeah. That's fine.
Okay. So why don't we hold for that flag movement? Nothing on Flutter?
So we have the revised plan, right?
Correct.
That's hers? Okay. Anything else you'd like to add on it, or are you good?
Oh, great.
Okay.
Great decision.
Then my guess is that we'll continue that public meeting to February 9th. I would accept a motion to continue the public meeting for DEP file number 100-0398 to February 9th with the applicant's permission.
So moved. Second, just my instruction, it's a public hearing.
Oh, you're right. Sorry. Thank you. Right, Anrad. I was thinking RDA.
Oh, speaking of which, I don't have the legal ad check for this one yet.
Ah,
Supposedly Rohit had this in the mail,
okay.
and that's not, as far as I know,
All right, well then,
Another reason to keep it open.
Yeah.
there you are. Okay, so based on the fact that we need to make bank and we have the question on the floor, we're going to get the marked up plan. We have a motion on the table. We have the second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. Next, we have the notice of intent for Balch Pond Dike.
No. I have it. It's right here. I thought it was the unread.
Is anyone here for Balch Pond Dike tonight?
It would appear not.
All right. So we went out to the site. We walked it. Have you been to the site, Brian?
Yeah, I did that yesterday.
So we walked it. We had extensive questions, and then we read the application as we stood on the side and realized that all of our questions were answered. Really didn't have any question about. Once we read through, we didn't have any question about the extent of work. Did anyone have any questions that we needed to direct back to anyone from the town? I didn't remember any.
No.
How about you, Ron?
No, just looking at the, for permission to remove, fill, dredge. Did we talk about that? I thought they were just gonna cut the trees down.
Yeah.
That is what it said. What do you have?
Where are you?
It's page 12 of 13, maybe, unless it's Harvard Road, East Main Street, Balch Pond Dike. So the applicant has filed notice of intent. The applicant has filed the above application with the Air Conservation Commission and seeking permission to remove, fill, dredge, or alter an area subject to the protection under the Wetlands Protection Act.
They're altering it.
I think that's the
So
boilerplate
does that mean
language.
alter?
It's the boilerplate language, and then
Okay,
it
so
references the
boilerplate.
plan.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's not- yeah,
okay,
but
okay,
that- yeah,
all right.
Every,
Every-
unless they have
Okay.
their own format, but that's the standard.
Okay, standard
Right,
form
yeah.
and language, okay, all right,
Right.
all right, I just
So
wanted to make sure.
we're looking to do
I- because
this,
we
and
didn't
it's
talk
one
about
of
that.
these things.
Right.
And by the way, it just happens to be cut the trees down.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so based on our information, has there been any other discourse with the town? Have they said, oh, wait a minute, or they're all good? Okay. So based on the original application and our site walk, and the fact that it's an incredibly simple project and we didn't have any questions on our site walk, I would accept a motion to issue an order of conditions for DEP file number 100-0396.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Any special conditions?
I really didn't have any. It's tree cutting unless somebody has something special concerns about tree cutting.
The dike takes precedence. Public safety.
Well, public safety.
Nice trees.
Okay. So in the
So I'll put this together. I'll send it over to DPW, see if they have any concerns, work it out, and bring you guys the full package.
I can't imagine there would be any, so that should be pretty easy. Yes,
Brilliant.
please. Okay. So on that idea, I would accept a motion to continue this public hearing to February 9th.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 And that would be for signing of the OPC.
Signing off, right. Can't imagine it'll be too hard to get that squared away.
That'll be pretty quick.
Okay. Next up, request for determination of applicability, location 7 Trevor Trail. Do we have a... Oh, we have a plan right here. Just about to ask you where the plan was, and this is the one I closed up.
Cheers. Like this man, brings checks.
So you guys can certainly open yours. I highlighted one. Colors sometimes make it a little bit easier. For the record, Nick Pong, GPR. Nice to see you again.
Been a while.
Yeah, a little while. So what this property is if you remember last spring, when we permitted Riley Jane Farm, this is one of the lots that was created in there. It is Riley Jane Farm is the extension of Pleasant Street. This is the last lot off of the Trevor Trail, which is the one, the new short road
Came off
to the right, exactly. If you remember coming in,
It's not, right, no, yeah.
to the right is kind of where the existing, or no, it's probably demolished, the barn was. Kind of take a right further down in there. This is the last lot on the right of the cul-de-sac. If we're in the cul-de-sac on the plan, Trevor Trail is up here. This is the lot or the house that's squeezed in between the cross-country water line that goes over to the Nashua Street extension, and the discharge from the one catch basin for Trevor Trail that goes down to the grass channel and the water quality swell that goes up to the wetlands. So what we're here asking to do is to file an IDA to move the limit of the work. During that permitting process, if you remember, we accounted for the notice of intent. We included all the proposed houses that would be in the buffer zone, as far as houses in the buffer zone, lot in the buffer zone, road in the buffer zone. That notice of intent kind of encompassed everything. The houses that were shown were approximate. So this is the first house that is being proposed and the actual footprint. As you can see, the house is significantly larger than the proposed houses, or the approximate houses that were shown. And we have a breakdown in the narrative of exactly how much more woods, pavement, roof, things like that. What it really boils down to is on my pretty plan here. The yellow is the erosion control. This pink right here is the current approved under the notice of intent or the order of conditions that was issued. So what we're asking to do is move the limit of work to basically parallel the 25-foot buffer zone. The closest encroachment was always to wetland flag 14A. It was 40 feet. We'd be reducing that down to 25, and then just staying at the 25 and wrapping around. So on my plan, as you see, and I have it grayed back on your plan, the approved limit of work and the darker version is what we're asking for on the RDA now. So what you'll see is a couple of things. House-wise, as I said, it's larger. It's been somewhat flipped on the approximate house. The driveway was on the right, kind of coming in near where the water line would be. We've flipped that over so that the driveway is now on the left and has a little bit more area because the approximate had a front-loaded garage, whereas this one's side-loaded, so that takes up a little bit more area. It turns out where it's, quite a bit square feet of additional buffer zone work. That right where you 6,700 square feet, I believe.
$84.91.
That's additional total lot disturbance.
Okay.
Buffer zone is the next one.
You're right, down below, 6687.
So in looking at this from a standpoint of, okay, we're increasing disturbance to woods, we're increasing impervious areas. In the narrative, we've kind of looked at the standpoint in when we graded the site, we've ensured that site runoff will still go to the design drainage patterns as far as Trevor Trails, catch basin, or the grass channel going down to the water quality swale. We're also providing direct roof recharge. If you remember the Riley Jane Farm design had that teardrop cul-de-sac. The center of that was a large infiltration basin, and we're providing exponentially more than what's required. As far as, so in adding the impervious surfaces that were proposed, as it's designed, it's going to handle, but we still wanted to take care of some of the increase on site. So that's the 3 recharge chambers that are proposed underneath the driveway. So that's really the crux of the proposal. Really, we're asking for a -3 determination to move the limit of work within or attaching to the conditions of the standing order of conditions.
Well, if you got the negative DOA, then this would be in your mind what you needed, you could go ahead and start building?
I would hope that it would be that way in your mind.
Not guaranteeing that. It seems, I mean, with Pingree Hill, we've had the infrastructure order of conditions and then orders of conditions for the individual lots. So this would be,
Together, I mean,
So,
as one package.
yeah, Brian,
No, separate.
Separate.
the order of conditions for that was issued for kind of the whole thing. What does that say as far as limit of work and any? Is there a,
Well, the limit of work is drawn on the plans, but to Nick's point and to Jess's point, I don't recall if it spec'd that it was only for the infrastructure.
We actually did include each of the houses. If you remember, we actually made a point.
Do you want me to go fetch it?
you did include that?
We did. We provided the fees and
Okay.
Do you guys want me to go fetch the order?
Well,
the order of conditions attached in the IDA package.
That's easy.
there it is.
I guess my biggest concern is the total square area change
Yeah.
here.
I have a concern about that. I have a concern about the process. I guess if I don't that what you said about the previous order basically being for not just the infrastructure but for the house lots as well. If that's the case, then I mean we're looking at a plan change, and I think. I guess I would prefer to see it handled as bringing it forward as a plan change.
And amendment.
And it would be up to us to decide whether the change was insignificant or if it required an amendment to the existing order conditions. So that's
Which is somewhat of a path that we're trying to do with the RDA.
I understand
Yeah.
that the RDA is easier, but
Well, no,
for you.
Well, the other part is that so the applicant here is the person that has negotiated but not completed the purchase of the lot. So from that standpoint of the notice of intent, we can certainly do it, but we wouldn't want to file a new one. We wouldn't want to file a new one for CJ, being that he's going to sell it. And then the whole policy about multiple orders of conditions on the same project.
Yeah.
So now we're stuck with having to come back with an amendment, but if we do an amendment, then it would be a request for an amendment, and I could provide updated drainage calcs, basically showing, that the recharge area provided is greater than required, so on and so forth. And at that standpoint, if it comes back to, I understand, this is the first one, and we don't want to, start the ball rolling down the hill.
So just backtrack for a
Yes.
second. Does this mean that every single house we're gonna have this question of overlapping orders because CJ's got the order and the eventual homeowner? I mean, are they gonna be moving as quick as this one is?
You would hope. I don't know his actual construction schedule. He's trying to phase the development. I believe he's talking with the planning board about that, as far as extending Pleasant to just past Trevor to provide a turnaround and then build Trevor. As far as coming back to you for every house, the answer would be really is if what the new homeowner wants to move the approved limit of work. If they're inside the limit of work, we'd probably still let you know that, this house is this much bigger or smaller, but we didn't really clear cut the lots when we did the approximate houses. So theoretically, that's a long way of saying that we will probably be back before you in somewhat of a similar fashion.
So then we need to set this process up on this one and expect we might have to do it for all of them.
Yeah, I would.
So we don't want
I would
to amend the
offer that-
NOI every single house.
I would offer that the RDA is not. It's an option, but for those of us here at the table, think the only option for any proposal that increases the project footprint from what was approved is, in my opinion, either an amendment to the existing order of conditions or a new NOI specifically for this lot, which gets tricky. So I would suggest that the cleanest way is amendment to the order conditions, but then, down the road, it makes it harder for the
Right, and then you could potentially have
for the individual lot transactions.
10 amended.
So I understand it's harder, but
Yeah,
from a
We do partial
Right.
COCs all the time.
I swear.
from a regulatory procedural standpoint,
Well, I guess
I don't see how we can.
put my salesman on, but with an RDA and having a plan attached to it, it would help from the standpoint of issuing those partial COCs. From the standpoint of if we come back with an amendment, I have to show the entire subdivision. And at that point, it's a 24-page set.
It
Do
might
I
be a
give
real
it-
benefit for you to do multiple ones at the same time than if you're going to come back with an amendment like that.
But I can't.
That's my
control the
sales hat.
market, right.
This is 60. This
Yep.
is 6,000 square feet of change.
Correct.
I can't
And
imagine.
basically, whatever, go from 40 feet to 25 feet,
25,
yeah,
right.
which I don't think that's a precedent that we should be establishing as a.
I mean, one of the things we talked about was, and I remember as we set the limits of work, I remember being happy about the idea that we weren't trying to mirror the bound, and that's exactly what this does. So this goes, and so instead of all that area that before we were leaving uncaptured, we've
Yeah.
now taken it and cleared it, and it's pretty significant. Well,
Sorry, I didn't get that.
I bet you didn't.
I'm gonna run upstairs real quick. I did not bring down a determination sheet.
Wait, I don't think we need to.
Well,
So,
right, you would need to even if you don't need to, right?
well, no, I guess what I would like to do is I would like to, so, I don't think we're done talking about it, but what I'd also like to do is I'd like to talk to our circuit rider about her feelings on this, because at the same time, I also don't want to get a phone call later, when it gets appealed, or somebody appeals it and says, where they say, what were you thinking? 6,000 square feet of change, and you were going to take it as an RDA? I just want to make sure that if this is going to be the first one, let's make sure we have a clear understanding of what's appropriate and what's not, especially where virtually the entire house project is within the 100-foot buffer zone, if I'm reading my dashed line out here properly.
You are. The entire lot's within the 100-foot.
Right. Well, there's the walkway is not, but that's
Well.
right. So after that, everything that we're doing is additional impermeable surface inside the area, including a large section of impermeable surface, which is for just the driveway, which is, extended into the area that was not going to be cut. So it's pretty significant. I think I would feel more comfortable. We can certainly talk about other people's opinions before we move forward, but I feel more comfortable referencing this back to DEP and get an opinion, which unfortunately puts us on to the 9th meeting, but I don't feel comfortable acting on this tonight. I don't know what your feelings are, Jess.
No, I'm not comfortable.
George?
I agree. I think this is too big to jump into right now.
I think it's too big for an RDA.
I agree, and just looking at, this is the order conditions, administrative condition number 9, says that any change in plans to the order must be submitted to the commission in writing for approval. The commission will then decide whether the change is substantial enough to require a new notice of intent filing or a request for an amendment. So in our special condition, we didn't give you any room for an RDA.
I'm putting it in writing of an RDA form.
Okay, so okay, we can put in writing that we issue a positive determination, and
Right,
yeah.
exactly.
So,
I know that there's only 3 options for asking an RDA, yes, no, or no, but, let's give you some conditions.
So we're gonna be consistent with our own condition.
Yeah. So, this means, though, not to discount what you guys just said, you don't know how you would feel about going forward, but it sounds like RDA, wouldn't work.
Well, no, I mean, the applicant has a right to submit the RDA.
Right, but do you want to
Oh,
issue?
Let's think about it. An RDA is a request for determination of applicability.
I think our
What
only
we're-
choice is.
Right. What we're really talking about is, how do you move forward on this? How do you react to the RDA? So, given our level of comfort, I don't feel that it's the right thing to do to say, well, our request, you request your determination, positive, done.
Mhm.
What I'm saying is, I'm willing to give you the benefit of an opinion from our circuit rider and ask them for another opinion before the 9th, and therefore be able to potentially look down other avenues. So what I'm saying is, you know what the most likely answer is, but we're willing to go back to the DEP and get further information in Nick's benefit.
Appreciate that.
So that's what
Fair
I'm
enough.
offering.
Now I follow you.
That's what I'm offering.
I'm with
The
you.
barn doors are probably closed, but I see a horse. So
You're,
let's
you're
just
reaching
ask.
for the hat under the door. Seeing
Like Indiana
I'd be
Jones.
interested to see what they say. But
I'm very interested to see what they say.
Staff with the residential lots, if you're not working in a resource area, they kind of steer you towards the RDA. But I do understand there's other layers here.
Well, and I think one of the bigger layers here is if this is number one of many,
Yep.
let's do it right in the first one and then not have a hodgepodge reaction. Okay. So based on the discussion, I'm sorry, Bonnie, I didn't ask your opinion.
I concur with the rest of you.
So at this point, I would accept a motion to continue this RDA to our next meeting on February 9th, pending discussion with the DEP circuit rider regarding the validity of using an RDA for this particular implementation.
And just to put the cherry on the cake, it is 8:02.
Say again?
It is 8:02.
So you got away because we missed the Pingree Way. I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
And,
So I didn't hear a second.
I'll grant an extension. Before
Grant the
you-
extension?
Before you vote on
Well,
this.
thank you so much.
No problem.
With that in mind, and the extension granted by the applicant, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll see you on the 9th.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Next up, 26, actually, is anyone here for 26 Hemlock? Oh, yes. Deshang.
I'm waiting.
Deshang, good evening. This is our 8 p.m. discussion number 1421 on 26 Hemlock Drive. Let's see if we can nail it down tonight.
Yeah, I think probably Brian and
Yeah, I'll go first.
Yeah, you go first, and then so let's see what the
So, I talked to the circuit rider. We had a lovely chat. When it comes to enforcement orders, you can rescind them with a letter, and then that's done. And then you would just make a new enforcement order. Reassigning enforcement orders doesn't happen. So the enforcement order from last year, from January, if you'd like to do something different, I will write a letter, rescind the EO, send that to DEP. It's considered rescinded, and then we would apply some new enforcement orders as you determine.
Okay.
So what's going on here, and the way that Judy read things, normally a utility easement is left open. It is not. It is considered more of a temporary disturbance. They'll remove trees, they'll remove shrubs, but they won't remove necessarily the wetland characteristics. And so the issue primarily is one of fill. So we're going to leave that open because that's how you do things. They did account for this wetland alteration down here, and so that's kosher. The fact that the wetland was altered.
Before you say one more word, what's the date on that plan?
It's 2013.
Yeah.
Was original issue.
May 9th.
Okay.
May 9th, 2013.
No, I just wanted to make sure because I remember seeing this, and now here we're getting into the part where what I remember is that stayed as wetland, and what we're now talking about is there were calculations so it would end up being filled.
Well, hold on. That's.
I just wanted to make sure I was looking at the plan I looked at when we first talked about it.
Can I just to get myself oriented? Right here is where we were talking about.
Right, the
somebody
shed
was
is
driving-
That's the
the
road.
shed is
That
up.
was being using
That's
Something
the
is
quote
easier.
unquote road.
Yeah, to
Yes.
get to the shed.
Right.
Yeah, up the hill.
Right. That's the
Yeah.
passageway that we could see. Remember, we could see the stakes
The
for
tracks.
water and sewer.
Mhm.
So as we stood
Yeah,
on Hemlock and we faced up
Mhm.
that way,
yeah.
the shed was up a little bit to the right,
Right.
and the other houses beyond, and the utilities ran in that easement.
Mhm.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay. So they did put wetland area displaced for utility access 290 square feet, and they're accounted for that down here. And so, in a manner of speaking, that wetland is okay to be destroyed. However, nowhere in any of the plans or the conditions was fill spec'd out. And so the question here is whether or not it was filled in. If it was filled in, by whom? And then that person, you could ask them to remove the fill. The problem being there's utility lines underneath there, and you don't necessarily want to go scraping away gas lines with, yeah.
Very shallow, so.
So that is one enforcement issue.
Actually, was there gas there? I saw water and sewer
Yeah.
marked. I didn't see
Good
gas.
guess.
Yeah, LPS.
All right.
Yeah, so that would be one enforcement issue that you could issue to whoever you felt was the violator, in this case, who put the fill in. They could remove the fill and then have them put in, wetland-friendly grasses and such. You leave this open, the wetland has been replicated down here. So there's that. This all is fine, sort of the way it is. The question becomes, because the shed is on lot
actually-
58.
Yeah. I don't think it's that far up, but yeah.
Right, so it's on lot 58. Lot 59 has used it, they're utility guys. But not, they're pretty, they're new to the scene, they've got the driveway, they've been sort of forewarned. They probably are going to make an effort here. And so the prior owner of this lot, if they had anything to do with this, is kind of a moot point. We can't enforce on them if they're out of town and we can't get a hold of them. So the question for you guys becomes sending a new enforcement order to Roper over something, and or sending an enforcement order to Lot 58 about the fill. The other thing you could send an enforcement order about, or just ask nicely, depending on the details, is putting in, boulders or signs or some kind of deterrent. And, you could either do that as an enforcement,
Deterrent for heavy vehicles.
From using it as a
for
road.
usage of a general sort, whether it's snowmobiles, ATVs, or,
Well,
kids on bikes.
I'm hoping that doesn't happen. So what I'm actually hearing you say, in a very pragmatic way, is we can't prove who did it, when they did it, but the calculations for that area is already taken up down below.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's really no one to send a letter to and say, clean this up, because the only person to send a letter to and clean it up would be the person that we could prove did it, and we can't prove who did it.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, I think I also discussed that with Julie. It's about, so what is the proper way? If this one was not replicated, then I would 100% have support to take it out, because that's because it's already replicated. And the question is, that's just because I was monitoring in this, I don't know, I started 14 or 13, I get to close. So
I think it was 14.
Right, 14, right, so probably right after this done. But I would think that fill is probably not from the neighbors, from what I can see right now. It looks like very uniform as the
Yeah,
other
they did the
places.
utility trench. They
Right,
filled.
I think when they did the utility trench, they just put it back and they graded out and hydro seeded. That's what I.
So the problem was that the other fellow started using it in a way that we didn't want it to be used.
That's correct. I think that the key is the easement is not properly used. So therefore, I would say issue whoever, probably the two families, because they are entitled to maintain the easement because of their utility have to rely on this coming to here. So I shared, so this get to be
What's that house
issue.
and the one behind it?
Yeah, and
Oh, there are two. Okay, so yeah, both.
Yeah,
both
there's
have-
two. They're right. There's
I think
so
they need to, either it's kind of, both get to receive that letter, say they cannot use in this easement as like a traffic, access. It should be only merely for the utility operation and maintenance.
Well, and it actually isn't even those two, it's 58. 58 that easement is entirely on property
Yeah.
58.
The property line's right there.
Yeah, so.
So it's really the people with the shed.
Right, the property line, but they claim this easement to them.
I appreciate their claim to the easement. However, they really don't have any use for the easement other than their utilities, which are buried. We don't have any evidence of them riding up and down it with equipment or anything. I don't anticipate that's the big problem. I think the big problem is the person who needs the shed access. The fella down on the street's not going to be riding a tractor on it or anything.
Right, but yeah, so right now what we found is there's a shed over here somewhere.
It's right about where that 58 is, actually.
Over here?
Yeah.
So they cannot access from their driveway. So they actually come in here.
Well, they could access from their driveway if they had built the shed facing that way. But that's a different discussion.
I see. Okay, then he should receive that enforcement order in my view.
My feeling would be the best thing for us to do is to send a letter and say, we've discussed this in our meeting and we'd like to meet you out on a Saturday morning and talk for just a few minutes to discuss what the situation is.
Yeah.
And then we'll bring this plan. In fact, can we take this plan?
Yeah, you have it right? Or I
Yeah,
can-
just not as big as that.
Okay, well, if you want to, no, I can leave one here.
It would be great if we could steal that,
Sure,
and we'll walk
sure.
over and we'll talk to them and we'll say, here's where the property line is, here's your neighbor's property,
Right,
here's what the issue is.
right,
This really isn't for Traverse,
right,
it's for the utilities.
right.
So a
And so-
letter to 59 and 58 for a little team chat.
Well, my guess would be the letter goes to 59 and N that just says, please don't use the utility access for anything other than utilities. That's what it's designed for.
Right.
And the chat is with 58 because I don't picture 59 using it at all.
Right.
That's the fellow with the wall.
But didn't you see Brian's landscaping
Yeah.
trucks for? He did
Lot 59, when they moved in, hired a landscaper, and the landscaper drove over this to plant some arborvitae along the property line. So,
I guess I'd call that a one-time use.
Probably.
I'm not
Yeah.
devastated by that.
Yeah.
no, but it's too easy, too accessible. It needs to be made.
Maybe put a couple of
Well,
boulders there.
So
It's
here's
not a
the
bad
only
idea.
other thing that really sticks in my head, right? By definition, a small square footage has been replicated somewhere else to make up for the fact that it's not there. And the only reason for that area right there is to handle runoff. The only reason for that area right there, right? You have a very small patch in the front yards of those people's homes, and then just a short distance away, you have the road, which has the catch basins and all the appropriate ways to handle all the runoff, right?
The culvert
So-
over here.
Right.
Right.
So while I appreciate that for its habitat value, it's a really small space. And so a chunk of it is lost, and maybe we asked to put a boulder there or a block there or whatever. But the long story short is compensatory storage through the remediation is down the bottom, or replication rather, is down the bottom.
Right.
And so it's a lot less of a big deal than it was when it was just a filled-in spot that wasn't supposed to be filled in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's like a finger shape technically in
Right.
the act. They also allow some kind of.
All you know that's going to happen in that area is water's going to run down the hill.
Yeah, it's like.
And it hits that spot, and
Yeah.
it continued to run down the hill
Right, yeah,
into the area at the
Right.
bottom.
Yeah, I was there yesterday, right? So after that, I checked that out. There's no ponding or anything. So with all the rain.
Well, even when we were there and it had rained, there was very little ponding back when we walked it the first time.
Right, very little. Yeah.
Drains
The ponding is
down.
more over here. Yeah, I mean, during the big floods, that's so the whole thing is the roadway.
Right.
It's acting like some dam, and all the water get down to here. There was a couple of years ago had a big ponding for a while. But,
Oh, we remember.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, not here. So that's why I say first I was not, because I was not involved in this part before, so I never thought of this what was an issue. But I think I don't think it's a bad idea to place 3 or 4 boulders and then people cannot drive through. That would be I mean, so then remind them it's a permanent demarcation. Say this is
Well, right.
or
And
signage.
would you like to ask Roper nicely to do that, or do you want to put that as part of the EO or like part of the discussion?
I think what I'd love to do is to start with 2 letters to N and 59.
Oh, and now as well.
Well,
Yeah,
because N has access over that,
Okay.
N has rights to that easement.
Yeah, they
And
have
just
the
say
right.
that we've reviewed this, we've reviewed the easement, and we'd like to remind both parties that the easement is a utility easement, is not a, for passage It is not for regular passage.
Mhm.
Please treat it as such. Let us know if you have any questions. We'd be happy to see you at a meeting. We send any.
That was an enforcement order just as a letter.
That's just a letter to the two. They haven't done anything wrong. It's
No EO, just the letter.
Just the letter.
A nice,
Yeah.
polite reminder with letterhead.
So to NN59, just a polite reminder, you have a utility easement. Remember in fact, it would even be, remember we discussed this when we were on your property when we were looking at the stone wall on lot 59. So that's that letter. Second letter is to 58 and say, we've had a meeting and we'd love to talk to you about the access to your shed. Could you spare 15 minutes for us on a Saturday morning? And, we'd love to come in over and talk to you and talk about,
Do you
what
want to
this means.
specify a Saturday morning? Do you
I
want me
would.
to
I would
invite them
specify
in
the
here?
11th.
All right.
If we're gonna have a meeting with them, then it should be here.
Yeah, you want to, my only thought was
Unless
to
we
do it.
post that Saturday morning as a public meeting.
We can certainly do that. My thought was to have a chat on site because it means a lot more on site because it's very site specific.
You'd have to post that as a public meeting, but that's fine.
Do you want to do it as that here at the next meeting, and then you do the site walk on the 11th?
Well,
they
actually,
come in
so
the
hold on.
9th?
So based on posting, because we don't know that they can make it, for all we know they're in Jamaica.
Right.
So why don't we say, ask them if they can meet us on March 11th. That gives us several weeks. That gives them time to reply. So you send the letter, gives them time to reply. We can post it as a meeting.
All right, you're better at this calendar math than I am. March 11th is one of these meetings, or March 11th is a
Ooh,
Saturday?
It's a Saturday.
All right. So to Takashi's point, do you want to have them in here on March 9th?
I'd
For
rather
the
do it on the
formal-
site, and if we need to do something formal afterwards, we can bring them in here.
So,
My feeling is this is an incredibly site-specific 300 square feet. Let's just
Then
talk to
I'll
them on the
post
site.
so post that.
Post
Well,
as a
If
Saturday.
they agree. that
So
they
wait
can
for
make
them,
it, then
their
yeah.
return. That's why I was saying we're giving them a whole month.
Post it at least 48 hours. in
That way we have an entire month for them to reply, and then you can post.
So what are we posting?
A public meeting
Okay,
on site, since it would be a public meeting.
okay.
Just so we don't.
It wouldn't be like, no, that's a great point, because I always think of site walks as NOIs and informal things, and this would be formal.
And if less than 3 of us can make it, then it's not a public meeting.
Right.
But if
We'll make
at
it.
But
least
is
3
it-
of us
okay.
make it, then
So here's a different question then. If it's a public meeting on site, but we don't allow the public,
No, we don't allow the public to go on NOI walks where we go through people's
Okay.
properties.
so this would be, okay.
This is all going to be able to be handled from the sidewalk.
Okay. Got it. March 11th.
You good with this?
8 a.m.?
Sure.
9 a.m.?
A 9 a.m. meeting.
Okay.
No catering.
And a letter rescinding Roper's EO.
And a letter rescinding Roper's EO since, quite frankly, not much to go off of.
Yeah, if
Don't get me wrong, I'm 90% positive he's the one who filled it, but at this point, knowing that the calculations are there, that satisfies the most basic quandary.
So if it was filled though, wouldn't it have had to have been filled just because of the gas pipes?
Well, by definition, they would have filled that area, and then what could have happened was it was left rough, and then when people came in and landscaped the lots,
Okay.
it could have been filled at that point.
Right, if
Remember
I
how,
walked
Yeah.
and you forgive me for saying, remember how terrible the landscaping was?
Yeah.
Right? It was all dirt for very long periods of time.
Right.
So I don't even know if the landscaping was done by outside vendor, if it was done by his existing contractor, blah, blah, blah.
Or the owner.
Or the owner
They-
themselves.
Doesn't look nice and they
Yeah.
probably smooth it and add more lawn. That's
Those are
very
all-
possible.
Yeah.
Those are all parts and pieces.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Does that satisfy everyone with regard to 26 Hemlock Drive just 3 years
That looks
later?
amazing.
Yes.
Bonnie's stealing from me. It's okay.
Wow. There's cameras everywhere. Wait till he uses the bathroom. All right. Thank you. Since no one has anything further, thank you, Deshane.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, if
Do you mind leaving that? That would be
Oh,
fantastic.
yeah, let me leave this one.
Well, we have a month. If you want to drop a different one off, or if that's okay to take that one, it would be great.
Yeah, no, I have no problem.
Just
We can always print it out.
Who do you want to have, who do you want to charge with holding it?
Huh? Brian's holding it. Brian is all over it,
Okay.
like stinking a monkey. Hey.
That's supposed to be, right? You want people to know he was all over the place, then they will behave.
All right. Thank you, Deshane.
Thank you.
All right. AJ, good evening. Update on Kohler Place Wright Road extension violation and conservation restriction.
Evening, everyone.
Good evening. How are
How
you?
are we doing? Good, good. How's the new year treating everyone?
Fantastic. And you?
Same.
Good.
Same.
Good.
Getting close to moving in?
Almost.
My wife can hear this almost.
Every
She
day.
keeps asking me, when are you going to be done? I go, when I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah. When are we gonna get there? When are we gonna get there?
I'm hoping end of March.
Good.
That's
we
good.
should pull it, yeah.
That's good.
But thanks for asking. Appreciate that. Yeah.
Right up until someone changes their ideas on the lighting. All right.
Yes.
Brian, why don't you fill us in, sir, on where you ended off? I seem to remember a saga with rocks.
Yeah. So the saga with rocks is nearing its end.
Completed, yeah. I sent
Alright.
some pictures this afternoon.
All right. So
Fantastic.
then I'll probably swing through tomorrow.
Mhm.
And, do the usual thing. So the rock should be out. That should be moot at this point. It should be resolved. And I'll go out and do the confirmation tomorrow. The CR is we're getting into like dotting I's and crossing T's territory.
Great.
I got an email from DPW. No, you sent me the email from DPW, and then
Yep.
Mark came in the next day and said that they're working out the legalities.
On the water pipe.
Yeah,
On the water part, yes.
because
Okay.
one of the details I brought up is that in the CR language that AJ has, it doesn't specify the easement. It just sort of gives DPW like blanket abilities to go on their easement,
So
without
it's-
mapping it out. Because the
Yeah.
only easement was the telephone line. So we're waiting essentially on DPW to develop the easement they want so that it can go on the CR plan, which then gets submitted. The little
If I may, so my expectation and that sort of thing is somebody has to survey that easement. That's the only way to make an easement, because you have points and angles and lots and distances.
I think it's going to be mostly a straight line though.
The survey, the drawing that I've seen from Mark is Ross did the survey
Okay.
of the initial line where they think it's going to go.
Great.
And I think that is the survey.
Okay.
It shows where they start and where they stop on the other side as well.
Perfect.
It does show all the drilling on the Cola Place side inside the protected area already.
Okay.
So it's inside the hay bale line.
Yeah.
It's on the detention area. From what I
Yeah.
can
We
see.
were standing there that day.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
I think I saw Mark last night, and I was just asking out of curiosity on that, and he said, I thought they had to slightly relocate the direction of where the pipe's going to go through.
Well,
So it might
they're
have
working
been
on it.
some-
They're doing borings
Right.
on both sides.
Yeah.
It might shift.
Yeah.
It might change a little bit.
Yeah, they're tweaking the geometry, but when they get it tweaked appropriately, it'll go in the CR plan. It'll be on the CR map.
I guess I'm a little lost. My understanding is the directional boring can go through rock and go through anything.
Right, there's some, it had to shift a little bit, he said.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
what it does.
Unless they're.
No,
I'm sure
I'm
about the plan.
the only reason I'm saying it
Yeah.
is that we did directional boring on one site, and they specifically picked going through the rock under a river and coming up on the other side. So
Yeah, that's what.
And,
that's what I would expect.
they-
So
they
I just don't
go
understand the
ledge?
tweaking,
They go
but
through ledge?
right through it.
and,
I think it has to do
actually-
more with the landing zone or the starting zone,
Hmm.
making them line up more than in
Yeah.
between.
He also said, just as a point, then I don't know if it connects, but that they're now going to do the directional drilling from Wright Road from your area
Yeah,
straight through to Sandy Pond Road.
that's correct.
Yeah, they're not going to come up in the.
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait,
I think they can
what?
do that.
Yeah, they're
Whoa.
talking to
That's cool.
So the
The
easement
new
will be a
owners-
paper easement.
the new owners of the house building on
Yeah,
Sandy
on
Pond
Sandy
Road.
Pond, yeah.
Because that's a dry area
Uh-huh.
that they can come in and come up in instead of coming right through just the wetland straight to Sandy Pond Road.
Sure,
I
sure.
think that's the change that Mark's talking
Yeah,
about.
they'd have to. They'd literally have to come up in the
Yeah,
road,
right.
Yeah,
right? Because you've got Callahan.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Then you've got a small section,
Mhm.
the new house.
Yep.
Then it's wet. The new 3 houses we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Right, so that's where
Not
they
a lot
had
of space to
that's
come
where
up.
they had to tweak it then.
Yeah.
I gotcha. I gotcha. So that makes sense.
Yeah, because the wetland flagging
There's a
is,
lot of alcohol.
yeah, it's right off the edge of the road, so it would be tough to come up straight through. So I think that's
Right.
the angle that he was talking about, yeah.
Well, the nice thing if they're doing it, the directional boring machines that they have, they can literally do this if they want to. So
Yeah.
it'll be fun to find out.
I
So-
can't wait to watch it, huh? Should we
Right?
watch it?
It gets boring after about 8.5
Yeah.
minutes. It's just a lot of noise and a guy staring at a machine. That's right.
So yeah, there's a few other little points of language that I've picked up on. AJ came in, we agreed on the vast majority of them,
Mhm.
and so your person's sort of working that out,
Mhm.
come up with a new draft, and then the only there's 2 details. both dock related. One of them is that the path to the dock, the way the CR is written, the path doesn't need to be marked on the map because it's sort of like you are granted access from point A to point B, and that seems reasonable to me. And AJ was just worried that you guys might want to see that on the map, like where the path would go.
I think we would, if only. I mean, assume it's a walk path. It's
Mhm.
not a.
Right.
It's not vehicular.
Right.
It's correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
weren't we gonna look at it at some point again after we flagged it at some point when we were out there?
Right. I thought I thought you were going to be able to, after you had the house placed,
Yep.
Right.
and be able to get back in there and figure out where you wanted it to go. Because a big part of that is, where does it end? Where do you want the dock?
The dock on the permit is already marked where it's going. It's the property line is there's a bound at the pond,
Okay.
a grand bound with a stake right now, and it's off 50 feet to the left of that is the dock location.
Okay.
I
I think maybe we just weren't able to get down there when we walked
Yeah, it
there.
was pretty good.
Okay.
So I can gladly I think one of the questions was rewalking the wetland flags at some point, but I don't know if that's needed, if we can get down and walk.
Well,
or-
I tell you what. Why don't we start with, if you can locate where the walk path is going to be, then we at least have the opportunity to walk it and figure out what we need to know. I mean, again, if what we're really talking about is picking the sticks up so you have a way to walk down to the dock, then that's one thing. If we're talking about clearing a 4-foot path and cutting trees down, then we're into a different discussion.
I wouldn't like to do any of that, the clearing or anything. On that note, does it have to be a designated path, or because my kids want to go fishing, they're going to go through the woods and go to the pond?
Yeah, no.
We're just walking, so I don't know if do I have to designate an actual path to get to the water line and then walk to the dock area. I mean, I don't
Because you're granted walking privileges
Yeah.
throughout
sort of
the
anyway.
CR, so I don't
It
think.
sounds like per the language that he doesn't necessarily have to do that, right?
Right.
It doesn't-
Well, let me step back a step. You're right. I think what our issue was is we couldn't get to where we needed to get to because you're going to have to do at least some minimal clearing. So remember how the brush was such that we couldn't get down to the water.
Mhm.
Otherwise, we would have gone to the water.
Mhm.
I mean, we were right there. So you're going to have to do some clearing, at least if we had some idea of what you were planning to do. I don't know if it's easier for you to see now what you
It
want
is.
to
I walked
clear.
there this morning.
Okay.
That's fine.
I found an area. It might be different in the spring. It might be more wet than now. But
And
I'll gladly walk and we can come up with a path. I'll be happy to.
I think that was part of our question. Remember, some kind of how you were going to make it so that you could walk down there.
Mhm.
And that's all we're trying to do is just to say, you know what, when
Am I allowed to do anything?
well, I know that one of the things that we had talked about would be there are all sorts of things open to you with NOIs and bridge building and all that, and so clearly that's not what your intent is, right?
No,
Right.
not at all.
Okay.
No.
So at that point, what I remember we were talking about was some kind of floating bridge, or effectively. So have you been on hikes in the woods where they have?
Hold on a second, just because we talked about this,
Mhm.
and I mentioned that the commission's assumption was that you would be crossing the wetland in a straight line, and you said, "Oh no, I would walk on dry land down to the beach and then come up the beach."
The easiest path without getting
Right, that's what you're.
in the wetlands is getting
Without
to the
getting mud
line
in the
and walking.
house. I
That's
think it's
correct.
probably the best way to
That's
phrase it.
correct. Yes. Yeah.
You
But-
can say that out loud.
But I do have 4 boys though.
And a big mudroom, I hope. So,
Yeah.
okay. So the way that we walked down, there was no way to where we were headed without either cutting trees and brush or going right through the wet.
Okay.
So if you found another way to get down there that doesn't involve that, then that's great.
I mean, I was able to get there today, but it's it was semi frozen. It was melting, but there were some wet areas that might change in the spring. Those might come up a little bit when the pond comes up.
Sure.
I'm not sure.
Plants grow.
Yeah. So if we want to designate an area we can walk it, I'd be more than happy to.
Well, I tell you what, if you roughly flag an area that
Okay.
works for you,
Yep.
okay, then at some point we can just pass through and just take a peek. Again, we're not trying to limit you. What we're trying to make sure is that when we walk away, we say, this is a path that works.
Okay.
If it isn't a path that works, then we want to work with you to come up with a path that does work,
Okay.
so that we stay in the same methodology. We just want to head in the same direction together, as opposed to potentially crossing swords later because, one of the kids went through and cut down a bunch of trees to make it his own path, and and that wasn't what we were shooting for.
No,
That's all
I,
we're trying to do.
no, I appreciate the help with that. I really do.
Actually, there are a lot of people on Sandy Pond, and we would get phone calls.
Yeah, one of the things that's
This is
prevalent on Sandy Pond due to the amount of people who live there and ride around in their boats or their kayaks
Yeah, absolutely,
or their
absolutely.
canoes.
Yep.
Yeah, everyone's going to know what color your pee is. So
Yeah.
the best thing to do is to come up with a plan right off the bat and go from there.
Sure.
But you're not familiar with that one?
Town sewer?
Weren't you?
I am.
You're from the middle of the country. That's something people say at breakfast.
I did meet with Scott from Oxbow this morning.
Nice.
We had a meeting. There's two things left on the baseline that he'd like to put in. One was the NOIs for each house. So the numbers for those, he didn't have those on there. And the declaration of restriction that's recorded as well. He wants that on there as well.
Probably a good move.
Yeah, everything else he says it looks good. I did ask him.
Is he going to sign that sheet?
I asked him about that. He said he was going to contact you and see if that was okay. He wanted to talk to you before he
That's
signed
fine.
it, so I told him you could call him. So
So
there's
the-
an inspection report part of the application, and we're calling the inspection the baseline that he did. So if you feel comfortable and he feel comfortable, you can have him sign it. That's the last portion on the application that needs to be completed. When I have the final revisions from our discussions for the restriction, the language, I'll send that. I told him I'd send that to Scott and yourself for review. If the application and the restriction, the baseline is okay, then we'll issue for the permit application. The only thing is the drawing for the water line, as you brought up. Do we want to have that easement or drawing part of that restriction application?
Right. And the reason I brought this up is that let's just say DPW has a problem with the line and they need to do work in the CR.
Well, so I agree with you. So they only have a couple options for a line like that, right? They're never going to trench to get to it.
Mm-mm.
So their only options are to deal with the two ends where the connections are and maybe some limited area inside of that, or drill another one. Those are the two options.
So then from that perspective, it really doesn't matter if their easement is on the CR because
Well,
they would
the
never be in
landing
the
areas
CR.
matter.
Right, but the
The-
landing areas are both outside the CR.
That's
And
correct.
you're all set?
That's correct.
Then, and so I don't believe me. You made a great point. The only thing is that in practice,
It won't
this
matter.
is fire and forget. You put the water pipe in. When they're done, they test it, flush it, and they're finished. And there's never accessing anything other than the 20 feet at each end ever again. That's all that happens.
So then
Does that make
based
sense?
on that, that's one less thing to worry about.
Uh,
Should you choose to blow it off, it's okay with this body.
Well, I wouldn't use the term "blow it off." I would say
No, I
if
would-
you choose to
No,
not wait,
Yeah.
that's fine, because again, literally, it won't be a problem. It's the middle of that line is going to be 40 or 50 or 60 feet down under the pond or under a portion of the pond, and no one's getting to it.
Mm-hmm.
No one's going there.
Okay. The only other thing that we discussed too, Rang, was access for. There was access for the water department to access that easement, but there wasn't for
Oh yeah.
you. 'Cause
Yeah,
if we
I was
have-
just gonna
yeah,
piggyback.
Yeah, okay.
So then, so the detail what we just brought up there, the way the CR is written, it grants the commission or its agent the ability to go out and check up on the CR, but it doesn't give me any access point. So like if you drove into Kohler Place, right, and all four residents decided to say screw you, where do I go? You know, I go back. There's other neighbors. There's surrounded residential.
But it's so in other words, the conservation restriction is landlocked. There's no access path.
Right, and we were gonna write in that the conservation agent, et cetera, can use the same easement granted to DPW for access.
Okay. Does that seem reasonable?
It does. There's an easement. There's a drainage easement from basically. It's on the property line. It's half on my.
Yeah, I was
property,
just
half-
thinking that.
So there's an easement for the drainage down to the detention area.
Yeah.
So that could be your access to the restricted area.
That's, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, because I was just thinking about
Yeah,
that, right?
yeah.
You come off of that circle, and
Yeah.
there's that whole area, and we were saying that's basically the shape of the basin.
That's
Right.
correct.
There's
Right.
your access.
Yeah.
And
So
so we'll
That's an
piggyback
easy one, and you-
into
I'm
that.
happy with that. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and it's wonderful because you're not going to bother any of the neighbors. You're going
Well,
through
and it's
the.
kosher, just foreseeable problems are that people say, oh, DPW can come, but you're not allowed. And
Well, no,
legally,
and
it'd be-
I don't anticipate as much of that as why are you walking in my yard and someone calls the cops. So
also
you know.
true.
Whenever you those inspect, just call me. You can.
Oh, yeah.
That's fine. It's not a big deal.
It's
Yeah.
99 years from now.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Is that the standard we're applying? Listen to you, optimists, thinking there's going to be a United States in 99 years.
I'll give you 199 days.
Everybody's moving to New Zealand.
So on that, Mark,
So one last question. Then, have you thought about the actual dock you're going to put in, and are you planning on doing anything to create like a beach, or what do you?
No,
what you
just
think?
just the dock
Just the
itself.
dock
That's
and
permanent. Yeah, that's it.
Not a permanent dock.
Oh,
It's removable, not permanent.
Right.
yeah. So let's bring
so
up the.
you want that.
That's
You
correct.
don't want it to freeze in
No,
there.
no.
No.
So let's bring up the special condition that you guys have sitting in front of you. It's this page here. This was on the back of AJ's RDA. They granted him the dock permit, as well as several other people's RDAs. And I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this, because it seems to be duplicative language, or it seems to be saying that, like, for instance, AJ has a dock permit, and that says, you can't put in any new docks. And, and so,
Well, so hold on.
does that mean
So
structure?
future maintenance of the approved structure shown on the submitted plans. Was there a dock on the structure on the plan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
So
yeah.
future maintenance of that structure is allowed if you use CCA. CCA is prohibited.
You had one.
Don't drive any piles. Lateral pedestrian passage may be provided under, over, or under the dock. Under, over, or around the dock, excuse me. Application of paint, wood treatment, sanding shall be done on land or limited in the time of year when the water is drawn down. Using a tarp under the work area. Commission requests the use of aluminum, composite wood, under recycled plastic or dock float planking. You should do aluminum.
I have a yes.
Everything else is too heavy to move every year. Disclaimer: Commission only acknowledges the existence of a structure and assumes no claims as to the viability or the condition, engineering, stability, or safety of the structure. Removal or replacement of original structure is allowed annually through the term of the simplified license. Proposed new structures or an extension or enlargement of the existing will require filing a notice of intent. New docks, piers, floats, or related structures of any size will not be allowed after December 11, 2009. Okay, is that the part you were worried about?
Well, yeah, and are you considering this like a floating dock that prior, wasn't in place?
No,
and
no,
now
so-
there's a new,
So that's actually poorly worded. What that last part is supposed to mean is that licenses will not be granted for new docks, piers, or floats after December 11th,
Right,
2009.
'cause 4 of you were here when you guys were making these, and
Right.
yeah.
So what it meant was it's just that licenses wouldn't be granted, and I think the language is put together in a strong way to say that no one is adding anything after that, because under state law, a resource management plan is required.
And the proposed new structures or an extension or enlargement of the existing structures. You're not going to call AJ's dock a structure.
Hold on a sec. Where are you reading that?
Previous paragraph.
Removal and replacement
Proposed new
of is
structures.
allowed annually. Proposed new structures or an extension or enlargement of existing will require filing a new notice of intent. So in this particular case, in other words, he has a plan
Yeah.
with a dock on it. So if he wanted a new structure, a different structure, or
Oh, so
an
a structure
extension or
n-
enlargement of
Okay.
that structure, right? So the first thing that's important about this page that I hope calms your fears: future maintenance of the approach structures shown on the submitted plans. So all the language on here is in relation to the plan.
So if it's on the plan, it's an old structure, whether or not it's in place when
Right.
the
Well, it's not. It's,
Approved.
it's an approved or
Yeah.
permitted structure.
okay.
Right. Right. So just think of it as Ed Cornelier got himself a dock and just doesn't happen to be there yet.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's on a plan, and that's what counts. An
Great.
approved
And
plan.
The Permit Extension Act extended that.
Upped that, re-upped that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the language was like it had to be, and I think it was installed within 5 years of the date of issue of the permit.
Right, but then the
Yeah.
extension of that act
Give them another
Yeah.
4.
allowed it to happen.
That's correct.
And quite frankly, we would probably work with you anyway, because the intent was to get the permit and the permission at the time before the 2009 change that stopped that from happening.
That's correct.
So anybody who came to us before that, that was the beauty. And to this day, I have to thank Becky and Jess for literally just about going door to door to get people to put the dock in, get your permit, because if you don't, you're never getting it again.
Well, now that I'm here, maybe I could write one of these.
We were threatened with the time and amount of money it would cost.
Yeah.
Literally.
So just to clarify, so you've got a plan. If you, or hypothetically say me, wanted to change a dock from your existing plan,
Hypothetically.
you have the permit. All you have to do is then file notice of intent to change it.
Well, that's actually what this says. It says removal and replacement is allowed annually. Proposed new structures or an extension or enlargement of the existing will require filing. And so the existing structure is the one defined on your plan.
Right.
So you might actually have a smaller dock than what's defined on your plan, or you might have less.
Right.
So if you wanted to change it, it's per your plan,
Yeah.
and you would need to file an NOI if you wanted to do something that was different than per the plan. That's all. Is that something we need to discuss?
No.
Yeah, I was about to say, what about the new docks, piers, floats, or related structures of any size will not be allowed?
That's what we just said.
Yeah.
License.
In other words,
New dock
the
licenses.
licenses for new docks, piers, floats, or related structures will not be allowed after December 11th, 2009. So in
That
other
wording.
words,
So meaning if I bought a house that didn't have a dock,
a dock
You will
license.
continue to
Whoa,
not
whoa, whoa,
have
I
it.
wouldn't even say a dock.
no,
I'd
sorry,
say a licensed
license.
dock. Because there are docks.
Dock, right.
There are docks on Flanagan's Pond that aren't
Right.
licensed, but that's okay because no license is necessary on Flanagan's Pond.
Right.
Because it's not a great pond.
Not a great pond.
It's a poor pond.
I had one question about
It's a medium pond.
on,
Like a
on
weed
the,
infested
when I
pond.
pull the dock out in the winter, storing it close to the.
Oh yeah,
So
just
that-
put it right up on the shore.
Okay, all right.
And I suggested writing that into the CR language, saying that docks shall be allowed.
Yeah, storage of the
residency.
dock during off season, etc.
Again
Okay.
for the the window watchers.
Yeah, but most people do that anyway.
Yeah.
Most of the people, it's
Okay.
not like they
It's
take
the
the
same
dock
thing.
and put it in their dining room. They move the dock approximately 12 feet away from the shore so it doesn't get broken up from the freezing.
Yeah.
That's all they do. Unless you want it in your dining room. I mean,
No, thanks.
kind of an iffy call.
Sociable area.
If you put it directly on the ground too, it's going to be aluminum though, so it won't rot.
Right.
Never mind.
Yeah.
So you don't have to.
So the moral of the story, it appears, is that things are good.
Yeah.
I'll go out and double check that the other things are good,
Yep.
and then everything else is moving appropriately.
Mhm.
And-
One thing I did get brought up was on the town plan for the water extension, it showed leaving the existing erosion control in place
Mm.
for that. I'm not showing the timing of when that's going to happen. So what I told Scott has to re-up the new permit for the turtles. So I told him I would leave that protection in until the end of this turtle season, which is like September.
Mhm.
So the hay bales and the erosion control all stay in place.
Great.
Even if we're
If everything else is
if
done.
everything is finished, I'm still going to leave that up because depending on I don't know the schedule of the town work, but it's already in place. It doesn't make sense to take it out.
Yeah.
So I'm going to leave that in place as well, and he was happy to.
And Mark said that they're getting pretty close to setting that up to put out to bid.
Great.
So hopefully it won't be drastically long.
Mm.
No, I'd assume he doesn't want to do it after you've already put lawns in and all that stuff. He's going to want to do that while everything's still a little rough.
Well, I've been holding off on that detention area for this work.
Right, there you go.
And the owner of Lot 3 has agreed with me that area, we're not going to do anything from the road, so they'll be able to get the rigs in and I'll set up everything.
Great.
So we postpone any of that work until after the
Do you
water
need
is in.
to reconstitute the turtle erosion or the turtle barrier along the Cowley strip of property?
Yes.
Because that before March, is it March?
April, yeah. So before April, I have to have the fence back intact. Yes. When we blasted, a lot of that stuff came down. Obviously, rock went in other places. So.
Brilliant.
Well,
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
they do roll. So
And fly. Fly and roll.
Do they gather moss?
not generally.
So
No, we'll do
all four structures are foundations are in. 3 of the houses are fully framed.
Great.
The 4th one is going about a third way framed now. So in the springtime, we'll be looking in good shape for them.
I may swing down on Saturday morning if that's all right, just to take a pass through.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I have a question about the dock again. I'm sorry to go back to the dock. Do all properties have access to this dock?
No, just lot 1
Okay, just lot
has
one.
the permit and
Uh-huh.
has,
We clarify
and has
this,
that.
especially in the
Yeah.
language.
That's right.
And you're on lot 1.
My in-laws are in law.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. All right.
Yeah.
So it's the
Yeah.
grandpa and grandma dock.
Yeah.
Because the argument, my argument would be if all properties had access to that area, I would be in favor of putting a path, so that, right, a
Formal.
designated formal path, so that people aren't walking all over the place, right? Because the more it's traveled,
Yes.
right,
Yeah.
the more it gets disturbed and, you know,
I mean, I'll be happy to put a path in for that reason if we need to.
Well, let's
yeah.
take
Something
a
to
peek
think
and just see
about.
what
Yeah,
works
something
from
to
the
think about.
Yeah.
from and let's start with easy.
yeah, yeah,
Start with easy and go from there.
yeah.
I would assume that that's probably not going to happen because then people are coming on my in-laws' property and my property, and
Yeah, it's
you know,
not,
They
it's-
don't want to, So I would assume
Yeah.
that anyone that would be there would be either friends of us or family.
Yeah.
How would the people on lot 3 and 4 access?
Sandy Pond Beach.
How would access the pond?
Yeah. Or-
Unless they can
weren't they sold with pond access in the?
Well, that was, I think, a misleading,
The realtor. Or?
yeah, that was a misleading.
There's no pond access
There's
except
no-
for my. Well, I wouldn't say that. Lot 3 has. They could walk to the edge of the inlet that cuts in, and they could probably walk around, but then it's on to me and my in-law
Right,
property.
right.
So that
It
little.
is wet behind the other property.
and
Yeah,
this-
yeah.
This
Technically
is an
the
important
pond or
detail
beside the
that
pond.
we didn't
Yeah.
bring up.
Yeah,
AJ has broken up the conservation restriction into 4 different pieces, so that
3.
Three.
Yeah.
So the ownership of the conservation restriction behind lot 4 and lot 3 belongs to them.
Oh.
And so, in a manner of speaking, if lot 4 and 3 wanted to go on the CR, they could. They own that corner of the CR. However, if they went on to say AJ's portion of the CR, arguably they could be trespassing. So
I
it's
got
not
you.
like
So
And I didn't want to be responsible of the land behind their house if they went to decide to cut trees down.
no,
and
that
that
makes good
liability
sense
for
for you.
me
Right.
for
No,
the CR.
you
no,
don't want to be
was-
responsible.
So
yeah.
the language for those areas is they're responsible for the same responsibility in the CR that I have,
Uh-huh.
and they've signed out and notarized. So anything to do with the restriction, lots 4 and 3 are responsible for those in those areas.
No, and that's
and
good
this,
thinking.
And this is how it was divided up. I don't know if you want to. Yeah.
So everybody's held accountable for.
Everyone is held accountable. Yes,
Right.
that's correct.
And Brian, you had a question about the steepness of the rock wall.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
but we had this chat apparently.
Fills in.
You tell them the
So the Ross drawing shows a ledge wall in the back of the property.
Mhm.
This is lot 4.
Lot 4. Yeah. So when on the drawing it shows a sloped gradual wall. Some of that areas we could get the slopiness to. The rock wall now it's up about on the right side of the restricted area, non-disturbed line. There's multiple stones creep back at an angle. It's not the one-to-one slope that is on the plan, but it is the ledge and rock that's on the plan. We can slope that back, but for right now, my concern was just getting everything off
Right.
on the non-disturbed area,
And
and
you're
which
not-
we
you were-
did.
you were saying
I
you're
thought I was
concerned
worried about it being a rubble pile with a
Mhm.
house built on it, and it
Mhm.
turns out there's really strong, solid ledge for the house to be on, and the rubble just like swept over the edge and gave it the look of
Okay.
more
Yeah.
rubble.
It's, if you when you go walk, there were existing ledge croppings on the slope that are still existing, and we just kind of added to that to the backyard area.
So my concern was misplaced.
No, it was thoughtful. Worked out.
Yeah.
Okay. So
So once the restriction is in place, they'll have
this is what we were talking about
notarized
earlier.
that they're responsible for those areas.
So here's Callahan, and Cornelia. Then it was that wet spot, and then the 3 houses. So those are the 3 houses we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Okay, is there anything else?
I think we covered everything.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
we covered everything.
Wonderful. Thank you for the consideration on the access point.
Yeah.
We look forward to the hearing back from the town when they let the work go for the drilled pipe. And
And I'll go
Should be
do a
great.
site visit tomorrow and check up and take some pictures and, do the due diligence.
That'd be great.
When we did have the overburden from the blasting, I did have, when I talked to Brian on site, we did a walkthrough. I had Ross come back out and restake the non-disturbed line, so we knew actually where that was, and kept back like a foot or two from that, and then did the sloping of the rocks from there, so.
perfect.
And the hay bales and silt fences back in that area as well, and we'll maintain them.
Yeah. Did they move that one little section of hay bale? There's the no disturb line that Ross put out, and then Ross went out and did the hay bales, and the hay bale line is right behind, flush with the no disturb line in this one spot where they just
There is,
They tweaked.
professional silliness.
there is one area still like that, and right at the property line between 3 and 4.
Yeah.
The non-disturbed stakes there, and the hay bales behind it. But that's, just.
Hey,
Yeah.
props to the guy who laid that out and just be like, well, too bad, guys.
All right. I don't want to cut you off, but I think are we good?
We're good. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you. If you have any questions tomorrow, buddy, just give me a call.
Yeah. I'll try to get out sooner rather than later, but we'll see.
Okay. Maybe we can walk.
Yeah,
The path. Maybe
you can be around.
I'll be around. Just give me a call.
Yeah, cool.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right. So we're about to get into a part that will probably put you to sleep. Could you tell us what you might be here for? Is there something specific?
Public input.
Public input. Are you here regarding the aquatic plant management?
No.
Ah. Did you have something specific you wanted to address? We're about to go through these 2 packets, and it's going to be detailed and difficult. And if you had something you wanted to discuss, I'd hate to put you through that.
And
Although you're welcome to stay.
Ken Diskin,
I can.
180 Washington Street.
What can we do for you, Ken?
Resident of Ayer. So I didn't get here early enough to listen to the presentation by GPR regarding the 0 Washington Street, to which I'm in a butter.
Well-
So I'm not going to bring it up, because I guess I shouldn't talk about that now.
Well, actually, we can talk about one thing, which is that because they wanted to provide a new plan with a new flag on it, we're going to see them again on February
Right. I'll
on
come
February
back.
9th. So
Come back.
please feel free to come that
And the
night.
agenda, typically the way you set it up, you run it right the way the agenda set up.
Try to.
Well, we're like clockwork.
Right.
Okay, so the main concern, I happen to be a hiker, so I'm very familiar with that land that they're talking about, because I live right next to it. So I live next to Bill Madigan. So Bill Madigan's land is, and I own the house on 180 Washington Street. It's a yellow house with a little lower to the road there.
Oh,
around the
yeah.
curve. So I put a new ground mount solar array in my.
I was just
my
going to
attic.
say, we saw your solar.
So
Looks
that's
great.
That's my place. So getting enlightened in the last month or so about the hearing process and whatnot, I'm kind of involved. And I do a lot of walking at the Ayer Conservation Area, just to let you know that I love that place. And I told you my photos are on the website. So anyway, I have an interest in conservation.
Good.
So as I do a lot of hiking, now I started to look more closely at the project at the end of Rosewood Ave, where they're putting in a proposed solar array down there, a large
Sure.
solar array. And I just am totally disappointed with the protection to the wetlands that I saw over there recently, because it doesn't seem to be much going on at all as far as siltation fencing or anything around the edge of the work. In regards to the water that I saw, anyway, there's like nothing there. There's a silt fence that's dropped into the waterway and out the other side. There didn't seem to be any parallel
Where the culvert is?
right where the culvert is, right.
Okay.
And as that work gets more and more intense during the winter, and more trucks are going to go through there, and more rain happens, I just saw the possibility of a lot of runoff into the wetlands or into the waterway. I'm not sure of the definition of it. It's a brook, I guess you're calling it a brook under your approvals.
It is a real brook that
Right.
travels through there. It was always a brook.
Right.
The
I
beaver
went-
dams had caused it to look like a pond.
Right, so I went through your meetings, I looked at all the minutes, I saw the videos of all your meetings.
I
So
apologize.
I understand that,
Nicely done.
what the process is.
Do you like our show?
It's very the problem with the room seems to be that you can't ever see the person who's making the presentation to you folks. You can never see their presentation because the cameras come at it.
Well-
I don't even know if that camera is.
Speaking from experience, from the camera angle, where should they be doing it? Because
It
it's
should
easy
be
enough.
over here someplace, so that at least, and the presenter should be in that corner,
Yeah.
so that the people watching the meetings on television have a chance to see the presentation as they're speaking to you. They're not just hear the
Yeah, we can-
presentation.
Good,
Oh, we've
seen.
good feedback.
Done
yeah.
a terrible job on quality control. No, that's
I mean, they're over here and I can't
Yeah.
see them on the camera at all. I
So
see
like
you guys
right
sitting
under
at
the
table.
TV, between the flag and the TV.
There's another camera right there.
is
so-
the TV. Well, we don't have any control. We
Yeah,
don't.
We don't know.
And
which
there's
one's
never
right.
anyone in here changing the angles or telling us where to stand. What about can you
Well,
see the TV from the camera?
I would think so, yeah. They can project it onto that. In fact, I thought one of the presentations, it looked like they were going to do that. There was a laptop ready to go, and it didn't get used.
There was disappointment.
Hmm.
So first off, thank you very much for that input. Seriously, because
Yeah, we don't know.
we don't see that, and
Yeah.
I don't have a TV. And interestingly, the only time we ever get any comments is when we're out and people say, "I love your show," and we have to remind them that it isn't a show. It's my favorite. It just kills me every time. But no, what we usually try to do, the reason for the setup over there is so that people who are sitting in the audience can see it. Over here, it might be too far away,
Wait a
but
minute, slow
that's
Over here, I went to the last meeting, I couldn't see that presentation, I was right over here.
really.
It's angled like this. To you, you can't see that from over there.
I don't know that, but over here might be too far. That's my only concern. It's
I
it's
just-
small. That's
I'd
the.
review it if I were.
Well, let's give it a try. We'll try it over there and see how it goes.
No, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. We'll put it over by the flag we're not using anymore. Just right there in the corner, and people can do their stuff.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe
Most
we
of
can,
the,
start
obviously, the
making use of that
presentations
then.
are based on the drawings that they're bringing in, and they're using that for all their background information and
Right.
discussing the.
So the Shang's
color code.
presentation, for instance, just now was awful.
Was
By
horrible
that.
for the viewer.
Yeah.
Yes. He sat right where you are and held the plan up facing us.
Right.
So there was no one here to have any issue about what he was doing. And quite frankly, it was really just for us. But you're right. If someone was at home trying to follow along, they wouldn't be able to.
Yeah.
So
That's just,
No.
general input. But anyway, my main concern was the project at the end of Rosewood.
no, that's great. I appreciate it because when I was there, so we had that really cold snap, and I was able to walk out on the ice, and there were beaver tracks in the light snow on the ice, which was just the coolest thing ever. And when I was out there, so they've got the riprap section, and they did have the silt fence on both sides.
Yeah, but it's just running down through the creek and up and back.
So what they
There's
need
nothing
to
parallel
that was while they
with
were
the
because they were pulling the beaver dam out and doing that other work.
Yeah.
So what we should talk to them about is to go take a couple pictures and say you need to tie this in because as the traffic increases,
Well, here's
Have
the
they
thing.
started
I have
cutting
the pictures I
trees?
can email him.
Well,
it's very kind.
the
Have they-
I got an email from Cal that they finished installing the erosion controls up on the solar site, and he was inviting me up to go do an inspection if I felt like it.
That's fantastic.
So, and it's the same contractor that did the crossing work, and so I can go up and have that chat, and just I can easily
Well, you're-
Just
look
make
into this.
sure.
At the
You
same
park
time.
at the beginning and say, why don't we start here? In fact, it turns out that it is going to be a beautiful, balmy 34 on Monday. So
Hmm.
you missed today when it was 49, but it's going to be 34
Oh, I was
on
outside
Monday.
today.
So, well, I'm just saying if you wanted to go there. So it might be a good time, and it's
For
going to
the
be
record-
15 the night before.
It's not balmy until it goes below freezing. Then it's balmy. Then I'm a happy camper. Anything above that, it just feels like it's gonna rain.
It didn't appear that there were any erosion controls or any, let's say, straw, hydro seeding, anything that was done prepared prior to the winter to hold it during the winter. It seems like it's sitting there raw, just the way they left it.
They were moving a lot of material at that end there to get that in, and
Well, and the other thing
So-
too, they did leave in the erosion controls up against the culvert, but then the water level came up.
Yeah, but these are things that are anticipated when you're planning a
No,
job.
because the beavers had a dam downstream, and when we broke their upstream dam, they actually moved downstream and raised the downstream dam up. And so I think a lot of yeah, what happened. The stuff in place was buried in water, and nobody responded to that change. And so now instead of there being an erosion control, there's open water with a strict shot from there.
basically so we did anticipate that the beavers were not going to be so easily eradicated. The intention is that when the dam was removed, that the stream bed would come down, and we thought, well, worst case scenario, the beavers will try and build another dam, And then once they do, we'll put a beaver deceiver in. And so I don't know if you're familiar with the system, but there's one over in Rock Meadow Pond where they build the dam, we put a pipe through, and we set the inlet pipe height at the final level that we want the water to be at. And then that goes through the dam, and it doesn't make the noise that they're accustomed to hearing, so they don't stop it up. And then we put a cage on both ends, and eventually we show up and have to save beavers from it. But
There's one in downtown too.
there's several. There's one right over on the other side of the fire department. There's one in Long Pond Dam. There's one in Rock Meadow Pond. And there's also one at Pondview Estates. Remember we
Yeah,
put one in over there years and years ago.
Yeah. So I think, now that that you mentioned that, I think the concern, now that I'm thinking about the projects I walked around Christmas time, is because they lowered the water up from the culvert where it used to be filled, a lot of what was, pond, there's a lot of mud and silt and debris, and let's just say we had a very heavy rainstorm, it's global warming, it's not going to snow, it's probably going to rain.
It's not happening.
Hey, I know some
All
alternative
of-
Wait,
facts.
no, we're not doing this now. We're not doing this now.
But let's just say, because it's not protected, all that mud and silt now is going to rush down
Are you
the
agreeing
culvert.
with what I'm saying?
It's-
Isn't she agreeing with what I'm saying?
No, of course we are.
No,
We are, but what we're saying to
Yeah.
you is that the area that you're discussing and that you're concerned about and appropriately concerned about is an area that was underwater.
Right.
And so now it's not underwater anymore, and there is no plan to go in and seed that or do work in that area. What our intention is to make sure that the trucks and the traffic and the work that's happening on the roadway, that material doesn't end up down in where the pond is, but what's in the pond
Yeah.
is pond. So what you're seeing down there is silt and other material that was underwater before, and we're
Nice.
hoping that the plants will grow back up through it, that the area will grow in. I'm sure we're all going to be amazed at how fast
It's
it grows
gonna-
up over
yeah.
there. It's going to
Pretty
shoot
fast.
up, and all that stuff is going to get held in place as soon as the spring comes.
Yeah.
Until then, yes, if we get a heavy rainstorm, material will move and it'll end up down in the stream, and there's probably not a whole lot we can do about it, but it was the material that was behind the beaver dam. And so I don't know any other better way to explain that
Okay.
I don't want to say it's supposed to be there, but it was part of that pond and that in that area before. And it's just going to be in a different part of that pond if it rains heavy.
But I think the construction piece of it should be.
That's what we're
should-
most concerned
yeah,
about, is
we're-
making
yeah.
sure that
Yeah.
oil and dust and dirt and things from the trucks, et cetera, doesn't end up down in that same area.
And they're going to be removing a lot of trees in that area, so
Well,
it's
theoretically,
it's
yeah.
gonna uproot a lot of
Well, on the
stuff.
solar field, yeah, but they're
Well, no, actually across, the road, basically, as they get across up into the.
I don't know that you're right. I don't know that I'd say a lot. It's not like the clearing that they're going to do up above. I think the roadway ends up being 14 or 16 feet wide was the max.
Yeah, they have all the trees marked that they're going to cut. And it's quite a
well,
few.
and the other thing going on is the wetland replication they want to do,
Yeah.
which actually I think is totally inappropriate and is going to need to be rearranged completely. Because
Why is that?
The beavers.
They're creating wetland down.
Yeah, they've
that
backed
area.
up the water and they've used up the replication area. It's underwater right now, and so what we need is for DPW to establish the water level that they require for maintaining that sewer line, so that a beaver deceiver can go in and establish the water level, and then we can figure out where wetland replication would or would not be an appropriate thing. Because right now, their wetland replication isn't going to work. It's underwater. And I had an alternative thought about that. If you recall where the bridge is, the earth embankment that they're driving over, there's like the channel there. If rather than doing a wetland replication, this was probably more expensive, but if we just reactivated that channel, you could create another stream that would actually probably be more replication in the long run. But that's for another time.
Okay. So only because we're running out of night and it is 9:05, and I really appreciate your input, and I'm sorry that we didn't.
But
sorry
on
we
the
didn't
other
catch you early
tomorrow
enough so
or
that you
the
could
day
speak on the
after.
other.
There was a there was the approval that you put together, notice not the order of conditions, didn't it requires DPR to provide you guys reports, consistent reports on the construction and the process. Have you been getting those?
Well, the construction's over of so the solar project was done under an RDA, and the crossing of the stream was done under an NY.
Yeah, but that's not done right now.
Well, no, it is, in a manner of speaking. They haven't done any work on it since, what, like October, or
Okay.
give or take?
By November. I'm sure they'll pick back up in the spring. So the culvert's in place. The roadway, they're passing over the roadway to get to the back now? Or have they not
Well, I
cut?
mean,
You
yeah,
say they haven't cut the trees yet?
I don't
Well,
think,
they've laid out the erosion controls, so
Mhm.
somebody's traveling.
Right, so but if there's trees in there,
I
then
don't know,
it's
I think-
on foot or,
I have not been up there lately, so.
Yeah.
so. Thank you very much for your help. We really appreciate it. We'll keep an eye on it as well, and actually kind of excited to see what comes in those areas that are now not flooded anymore. Be nice to see what grows up there. So,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, so has everyone read Robert's email with regard to our review of the technical non-price proposals that are in front of us for our 2017 aquatic plant management for air ponds?
Yeah.
Okay.
You got an email?
We did. Robert sent an email that said, please review the two, come up with your, rate the two against each other, decide which one you pick, and then we'll see the prices.
No, they're still sealed.
They're still sealed. Right. So no one can see the prices until you have said, wow, we think All Habitat has a great plan and Solitude has a great plan, but this one is better. And then we'll open the sealed prices. I didn't remember that happening the last time, but it does have kind of a Price is Right kind of feel to it. So,
Yeah. So Branford, Connecticut. Branford.
oh wow,
Here you go.
way down.
Yeah, is that way down there?
It is
You
way
can
down
pass
there.
that down to Bill. You can, or to George. It's
Oh.
the copy of how the process shall be carried out.
Right. Overview of Mass General Law, Chapter 30B. The next step is to receive sealed bids or proposals on or by the date that you specified. If you are soliciting bids, you open and record bids either in an open meeting or in front of one or more witnesses. You must record the names of all bidders and the amounts of the bids. The bidding process is a public process and all documents are as public as Britney Spears' life. If you are soliciting proposals, you will prepare a register of proposals received. Proposals are not open publicly but must be open in the presence of one or more witnesses. Done. Price proposals may be opened at a later time. Regardless of when proposals are opened, the persons designated to evaluate the non-price proposals may not know the proposal prices until they have completed their evaluations of the non-price proposals. To read that again. Regardless of when proposals are opened, the persons designated to evaluate the non-price proposals may not know the proposal prices until they have completed their evaluations of the non-price proposals.
Oh, Jesus.
Proposals are not public records, and their contents may not be revealed until after the evaluation is complete. However, the register of proposals is public. Next, you will evaluate the bids or proposals, applying the rules that you set out in your IFB or RFP. You have wide discretion to decide what you want to buy and what is required for a bidder or proposer to be deemed responsive and responsible. But once you have set down the rules of the competition, you must apply them consistently and fairly. For bids, you will select the best price bid from a responsible and responsive bidder. For proposals, you will select the most advantageous responsible and responsive proposal, taking into consideration both price and non-price proposals. You will give written notice of the award within the time of acceptance you specified. So, blah, blah, blah. Sole source procurement. Jamie Lynn Spears, authorized under Mass General Law. So, as you can tell, we must evaluate these on their own, decide what criteria we're using. And unfortunately, I seem to remember we did that. Remember what did we say? Well, since we've never met the All Habitat people, let's take that one first. All Habitat people.
Okay. Do we have to approve or go through this tonight, or can we do this on our own time.
Well, I think that's where it's going to get tricky.
To be fair, the actual
I-
proposals themselves are pretty easy reading.
Yeah,
The
it's
rest of the
first
package
couple
is
pages.
resumes and examples of projects and
So, let's take a look through all habitat first and see if we can establish some simple criteria by which to judge them against each other.
Okay, can I have just one question before we, so DPW is actually in the process of doing water quality, water testing,
Mm-hmm.
and they've started, right, getting results back, right? So they're creating an Excel spreadsheet.
Do we
Are
have,
they going to continue doing that?
yeah, that was
Did you-
what Mark had said.
DPW. I thought you said DEP.
Oh, did I say DEP? I'm tired, I'm sorry.
I think you did, but it's okay.
All right, DPW,
DIPA.
DIPA. So are they going to keep going with that?
But that's something we should also be following.
Because, okay, let's just say one of these proposals isn't
Yeah.
as complete as the other one
Yeah.
in terms of testing, and then we rely on DPW as well. I'm just
Sure. Well,
throwing that out
see.
there.
Let's see if
All right,
no.
I'm just throwing it out there.
So what you're saying is maybe there's another way. Maybe one of the criteria is that testing isn't as critical to us because we have another way to achieve it.
Exactly, right,
Okay.
right.
So All
Right.
Habitat Services LLC, Branford, Connecticut. And if I can remember where I had dinner down there, absolutely. If I could remember where I had dinner down there, I would tell you it was great. Thank you for your consideration. Please to offer a proposal. Provide practical options for management. Objective is a healthy and balanced plant ecosystem. All right.
did you get to flip through it at all? Very efficient afternoon.
Hey, can be. It's 20 minutes.
Okay, so one of the things that we talked about the last time, as I remember, right here on the first page, under control of variable milfoil and fan wart, under Solar One prescription, the very first big paragraph, at the bottom it says, multiple applications, 2 to 4, may be necessary to obtain desired management results. So that's important to think about. They're telling you right off the bat, they use Sonar 1 fluoridone at a rate of 90 parts per billion, and it may take 2 to 4 applications. So it's critical to make sure that their proposal is to apply it until it gets the job done. I only say that because we've run into this in the past.
Now, just having glanced through the other one as well, one distinction would be, this is only talking about using the pelleted version,
Yeah,
and the other is talking about pelleted and liquid versions.
I think it might help rather than reading them one at a time. You might want to have the 2 pages open at the same time so you can quickly see the differences between the 2 proposals.
Well, I was going to read one to get a feel for how much I needed to dig in.
You don't need to dig in. There's like effectively 2 pages on each that is the actual proposal for the work, and the rest is all background and backstory and
Right.
I think I left myself enough space.
Yeah, Takashi, I was just suggesting that you guys read the packages side by side rather than one at a time because there's only like 2 pages with actual proposal. Yeah, and picking up the slight differences can be hard if you're not looking right at both of them at the same time.
So, a couple of criteria that I'd suggest, Bill, would be one, time of treatment also. And,
Are they stating time of treatment?
Yeah, they both do.
They both do?
And any sort of distinction in treatment of the different funds.
All right. I also noticed they specified 4 rounds of testing at all habitat.
Which is, I think, replicating our language.
I'm just checking.
Yeah.
And actually, timing, they do it 6 times.
Would anybody like the RFP?
Not just yet, but I'm sure we're going to end up in it.
Okay, I've got a few copies here.
If you look on the last page of their thing, though, they say that,
The one that starts, "It is understood."
yeah.
Okay.
It says, the very bottom, it says actual treatment application wouldn't be till mid-June to late June.
Late May, early June.
With follow-ups in July.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Which is different, I mean, Solitude has a very different timing schedule of late April, early May.
So that means like every time they treat, there's a roughly 7-day period where you can't use the ponds, right?
Well,
You can
Yes.
use it for swimming.
You can?
You can't irrigate.
Oh, irrigate.
Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't swim in chemically treated water. So,
I wouldn't allow my daughter to swim. I wouldn't allow my daughter.
no way.
yeah, but for us, I mean,
We're goners.
damaged goods. All right, so their pre-treatment inspection is May, early June. They come back in June and treat, and then final follow-up in July. And then post-treatment inspection in August. Report by October. All right. Let's look at Solitude. Or at least I'm going to. Please continue in your own freewheeling path.
I think Jess is doing a great job being a tour guide.
Is there any mention of GPS in the all habitat?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't get there yet.
Under number 5, reports and submittal.
Okay.
They both replicate the
Okay.
proposal.
Okay.
RFP language.
Okay. All right. Do we know what the difference is between the granular and the liquid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Solitude
Yeah,
is
it's
what-
Solidity.
Specs it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's more effective?
Pellets have more release factor.
Come on, I'm trying to be serious here.
So was I.
Maybe not.
One's hard. The other one's hard when cold.
Liquid be faster
Liquid.
in, absorption.
Right.
And the pellets would give a longer treatment phase too. So. The Solitude thing has.
These guys like to say pellets are slower, but liquid is quicker.
Liquid is
Yeah.
quicker.
A plot of pre-treatment data points will be submitted. So they nailed the 7-day thing. That's one of the big ads we had this year. It's a big jar this year, Marge.
Tell Marge.
Certainly, Takashi and Brian might remember that reference. Woo, big jar this year, Marge.
Sorry, you say that, and I just go to Pee Wee.
It was The Simpsons from 1989, the first Christmas Simpsons episode, the very first one, 1989.
Well,
Almost 30 years ago.
Oh my lord.
there was something recently about Large Marge in the Pee Wee movie,
Oh, I don't remember that.
and how we're coming around on the day she should have been born. She would have been 75 years old or something.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
trippy stuff. So, Anyway, that's where my head is. Talking about Marge.
No, it was Homer because Marge took the change jar out of her hair.
That was like
Those were the days.
15 animators ago.
Yeah. 1,500. Interesting. So they have a specific, according to this, they break out the cost for their submittals. All Habitat notes a cost for our time spent on these submittals is provided. So that leads me to believe that either they've said, we'll do your report and it's X, we'll do your pre-study and it's Y, or they've said it's open-ended and we get $180 an hour to do this. So that's something to be, watchful of as we move forward. Because we're not really looking for hourly. They mentioned ArcView GIS software. Are you familiar with that, Brian?
Yeah, it's the expensive version of the thing I use.
Excellent.
It's kind of like Microsoft Office for maps.
Huh. So, professionally jealous?
No,
Just asking.
it's like if you can do it for free, why pay for it?
That is understandable.
But you're also stuck with it because they have all the support staff and they own most of the licenses, and much like Apple and Microsoft, same thing.
Apple, are they new?
Yeah, actually, there's this new one called Naranja. Orange. I can't be a wise ass around you guys. You guys are better at it usually.
To be fair, we're also reading.
It's true. I've read this all already and I've got my opinions.
Yeah, really.
Don't want to poison the well by speaking up too soon. Jess is allowed though. You're on the commission. You get to make the team.
I do.
Yeah, you vote.
Oh, so she gets special treatment?
Yeah, totally.
Treatment? I guess I
That's
can't
a-
use these
come
around you
on.
either?
Treatment.
Oh, interesting.
So, All Habitat is proposing to create an application map record where they apply it. Are these guys? Do they propose that? I'm sorry, because I'm gonna
No,
have
that's okay.
I'm a slow reader, so I'm gonna find out if anybody else has read that.
No, I do not recall seeing that.
No, okay. Well, that's kind of cool.
There was
I like that feature.
I think in both cases, the vote will have a GPS,
Yeah, but do they?
real time.
And they have the record of where they, yeah, they give you that, yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't see that in there.
Right.
Where did you see that
Okay.
one?
It's just treatment method and equipment.
What?
What?
In Solitudes, on page 3, under Pine Meadow Pond, it says, according to the request for proposals, the objective at Pine Meadow Pond is for 90% eradication of fanwort and variable leaf milfoil, in addition to invasive Phragmites. Based on the geosyntax study, in addition to SLM's history at Pine Meadow Pond, we find no evidence to show that Pine Meadow Pond contains either Phanwort or Phragmites.
I saw that.
That's
I
weird.
made note of that.
Actually-
Yeah.
I brought this because of that.
There's Phragmites.
There's milfoil. Phragmites geosyntax as a stand of common reed is present at the northwest edge of the emergent wetland
Yep.
to the north of Pine Meadow Pond. So
It's not in the pond.
it's not in the pond.
Hmm.
It's-
Oh, so
That's a
it's-
little sketchy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
I think it's a very close reading.
yeah.
Well,
It-
what's interesting is, and I won't hesitate to bring this up if it ever comes up, is that the previous version of Sol, which was ACT, thank you, they came in here and told us that they would take care of the Phragmites for free. Remember, they were going to apply the other material, then it would knock the Phragmites off. I bet you we have a video of them telling us how their treatment would take care of the Phragmites. Guarantee it, because I remember when he was in here thinking, "Oh, that's great," because when you walk down there, you see the stands of the common reed. It's crazy. And he said that. Remember, he said that their treatment would help take care of that, like he was standing here today. So the idea that he would then write the same thing that says, "Oh, Phragmites, not there."
But if you,
So he's either bragging that he did an amazing job the first time, or he has a problem with his vision because there's no way to miss it.
does anybody want to see the geosyntax section?
Well, I just want to get angry.
Well, we specifically had the request that Harmsel add that in
Yeah, so
the
there's
Phragmites.
Pine Meadow and then the management rec for Pine Meadows right there.
Thank you.
Because you're right, it's not really, if you're,
Yeah.
I guess if
In
you
the boat,
say, is it
you're
in
not
the
gonna-
pond?
Yeah, you
Right.
can't get
If
to
they
it.
have to get out of the
You can't
boat,
get to it.
yeah, they're gonna
You have
charge you
to-
more.
right.
Put waders on and
Well,
But at the same
And that-
time, the Solitude has a whole bunch of different specific treatments for other things.
So they mentioned glyphosate
Yeah.
can be effective for Phragmites, but then
Yeah.
just before that, they say there's no Phragmites.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I put question marks there.
In all habitats.
although
does it mention-
geosyntax aquatic vegetation survey did not extend beyond the pond or the wetland area, the stand of common reed is visible from a nearby walking trail. It's visible from space.
Yeah.
It is.
It's huge.
It's visible from space.
I forgot about this. I thought we had marked this. Under plant management recommendations. As noted above, Pine Meadow Pond does not appear to be well suited for increased swimming access, period. The pond and its adjacent town-owned and land do provide good opportunities for, period. There isn't even a blank to fill in. Write the part you marked.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. They talk about treatment of the water lilies in Pine Meadow Pond. Pine Meadow Pond, according to the proposals, you don't have any issues. Based on this information, we're proposing a spot treatment program of variable leaf water milfoil using reward in May, as well as spot treatment of water lilies using AquaPro as needed. The foliar application of glyphosate will be administered.
Glyphosate.
No, I don't want to pronounce it that way. Will be administered along with a surfactant as required. Glyphosate has been used, different sentence, has been used effectively in the treatment of cattails, Phragmites, lilies, and other emergent aquatic vegetation in prior years. Recommend initiating treatment once the water lilies have surfaced and are focusing their energy downward toward the root system.
Page 3.
Page 3?
Solitude.
Oh, solitude.
Doing one at a time.
All right, so. All right, so all habitat doesn't provide the level of detail that Sol does on a pond by pond basis.
Well, I think because they don't know the ponds, they don't have experience of the ponds, they're gonna not be as thorough.
Granular.
Granular.
Sorry, they just flow. Okay, so AH, all habitat said July and May treatments, June and July, and Solitude says late April or early May, and then follow-up, and then booster.
Yeah, I think they anticipated 1 or 2 boosters, but starting so early, I think they would be.
Well, it says, we'll expose the targeted invasive plants to fluoridone just as they're beginning active growth, slow and eventually stop the vertical growth of the plants, less plant tissue to die back, which will result in weed-free conditions earlier in the summer and reduce the chance of adverse impacts to water quality as they decompose. Well, that makes sense. Okay, so here, so some people are going to show up and they're going to put some stuff down. So first they're going to analyze where to put stuff down, then they're going to put stuff down, then they're going to come back and do booster treatments. I hate to oversimplify, but right, that's the 3 things that are going to happen. Okay, so our judgment basis, and they're going to provide testing before and after. Okay, so testing, time of treatment, which we know is a big deal, method of treatment, okay. So, time of treatment was June, July for one company, May and boosters for the other.
April, May, yeah.
Right. Which would also have the benefit of being before the beach season.
Well, and actually on that, if you think of starting your initial treatment April, May before swimming season, and then having to do a booster, 1 or 2 boosters, be a lot less impactful.
Invasive?
Yes. And,
I can work with that.
Okay.
Good use of invasive. I think that was well done.
So, all right, so from a method of treatment, they're going to use reward and clipper. We've never heard of clipper before. Oh, clipper has proven to have excellent activity on fanwort. Please note that the town would be responsible for adding clipper to the current order of conditions.
right. Would that be important?
Yes. All right, so that's actually one of the only problems here. So they want to use reward. And if we use clipper, it means that we have to do something in order to make it possible, in order to make their bid come out.
Well, not entirely. If we decide, after looking at the specs that we don't like Clipper, they have other options. They have the less effective version that is in our order of conditions.
Sure.
But they would not be able to stick to the, you're right,
Then they'd come back and they'd say, well, then we can't make it 90%.
Well, they could, because the last page, they guarantee success at no cost to you.
But if we're thinking of doing an ongoing management program.
I'm not debating the.
Oh, yeah.
What I'm saying is that so
Yeah.
so if you have 2 companies and they both say we're going to use this
Yeah.
and we're going to do these things and they have minor differences between them, it's easy to say we have chosen this one and oh look, maybe there's not such a big difference, and so pricing isn't such a big deal. Okay, so when they put Clipper in the mix, and the other guys don't have it, and let's say that they come out more expensive, and then we find out that Clipper is ridiculously effective, well, now we're back on the hook for, something subjective as opposed to objective. Now, both of them have to make it 90%, so there's no getting around that. But
Have you done a little research on?
Yeah,
Clipper
I mean,
and-
they're all. What's the active ingredient? Does it list it?
Flumiaxin.
Fluoride.
Clipper
Yeah, I don't know that one.
Clipper wasn't, the reason it's not in our order conditions, it wasn't permitted in the state at the time. I think this is the one that just recently.
Yeah, that's a new one to Ayer. I don't know that.
is there a part about that I feel good? Or bad? Either one.
Hold on, let's
You
play
look
this
it up?
game. Yeah.
Let's do the.
Flume.
Or-
I believe it's been used in other parts of the country.
Okay.
X.
But for some reason in Massachusetts, it
Maybe, well, who knows? It may cost. I don't know. I guess one of the other questions is, what does it cost to become permitted in a state like Mass? So think about it. If you were going to spend the time and effort to get permitted in a state, where would you go? Minnesota. Many more ponds and lakes in Minnesota. Probably more ponds and lakes in Minnesota. In Winnipeg.
They never melt.
Well, I guess the appropriate expression you should be thinking of is soon. Or yet.
Yeah, right.
Oh, so these guys did mechanical harvesting or raking of Phragmites on Nantucket.
Did you skip past this technical
fair.
part?
No, I'm reading like what they're. I'm just looking down the list of municipalities.
So it's originally an agricultural use item for soybeans and peanuts.
Clipper.
Flumiaxin is it's water is a carrier. It is relatively unstable, and its potential to leach to groundwater is low. Potential for the degradation products to leach to groundwater is high.
The degradation products?
Yeah, that's what it breaks down to as it processes through
Yeah.
the
So I guess what I'm trying to figure out is what it breaks down to, or the things that it breaks down.
Usually in this stuff, the way I've always understood it is what it breaks into itself.
Okay. And that has a high chance of getting to.
Degradation potential for the degradation products to leach to groundwater is high.
Interesting.
And this is in the agricultural setting, so I need to see if I can find it.
Well, it's interesting. They talk about a treatment, and then they have their tentative schedule of performance, and page 3, and that says initial treatment late April, early May, then second treatment late May, early June, then if we do reward at Pine Meadow, we do it in June. If we do another sonar, it's late June, July. So there we were saying they start off in June and maybe a couple of booster treatments.
Yeah.
They're not just saying booster treatments, they're saying they have a whole process planned out that puts them doing glyphosate in August.
Only at Pine Meadow though.
Oh, here we
Right.
go.
So it's not a big deal from a swimming perspective.
Right.
Statement of guarantee. We guarantee a greater than or equal to 90% reduction of overall pre-treatment biomass of the targeted plants, milfoil, and fanwort will be achieved through approximately 60 to 90 days of chemical treatment. Level of control is guaranteed throughout the remaining 2017 season. Should last into 2018. Okay.
So I'm just gonna sit here reading for a second. The state of Massachusetts did an evaluation for this in 2013.
And approved it.
Apparently, yeah, but I'll go through this and give you guys the cliff notes at the end.
All right. So I have 3 criteria that I've listed out. I'm just going to tell you what they are, and I want to hear your opinions on it before we move forward. And excuse me, before Brian tells us more about Clipper. So the first criteria I established was testing. They both say 4 rounds. Then I looked at time of treatment. June and July for one, May, June, July, and August for the other. Method of treatment, AH says they're going to use Sonar 1, whereas Sol says that they're going to use Reward and glyphosate.
And Sonar 1 and Sonar Genesis.
Yeah,
Yes, sorry. Yes, all of
Yep.
them.
yeah, all of them.
Okay. Going to excuse myself for a second. Use left, right.
April, May. Pond.
All I could think of was the Naked Gun when he had the microphone and he wore it into the bathroom. Remember that in the first one? Remember when the Queen was there? The first Naked Gun, Leslie Nielsen runs in the bathroom and across the whole stadium they hear him using the toilet. It's just it's all I could think of.
We didn't hear you. Don't worry.
No, you wouldn't have.
We
but
heard you mumbling in there.
You
but
wouldn't have, but the people in the
we-
people on the other end of the microphone would have. Okay. So, does anyone have any other criteria that they think we should judge these 2 proposals by?
Well, I was wondering about specificity of attention to the difference between the ponds.
Sure. So there's definitely a lot more detail in SLM. So I think that's a good one.
Yeah, they read the geosyntech report. That's worth something.
Well, they've also been here for
Mhm.
a long time and knew what they were doing.
Mhm.
Although one might say that might be used as an excuse to not read the geosyntech report. Oh, we don't need to read that.
All right. So I'm just going to go down this as and I just as a quick and dirty. So the testing is identical. They both offer the same testing and the same specifications as to how they obtain where they're going to treat.
Mhm.
So that's a wash. Time of treatment, there's a much more extensive treatment by Solitude compared to AH. They talk about more treatment. They talk about using different items to get more to cover more ground. AH talks about using basically a single use to do their treatments, and so it appears that there's much more extensive time of treatment by Solitude than AH. Does anybody have a different opinion?
No.
So I would say more and less. Okay. Method of treatment, again, so I kind of wound those two together. So it's Sonar 1 used really one time with a possible follow-up treatment versus Sonar 1 reward glyphosate used over a number of different treatment times.
And Sonar Genesis.
And Sonar Genesis. Well, that was the start of it all. So. Okay. So again, Solitude seems to be delivering more. Let's go with efficacy. It's
a good word.
More attention to specifics when it comes to how they treat what they treat. And then again at the bottom with specificity with regard to the ponds, the information, just the basic overall information from Solitude seems to be for more specific treatment applied over a greater period of time using different items to do a different but more effective job. Is that fair enough?
Yeah, I mean, I think the distinction between treating Sandy Pond and Flanagan for this stuff, but we find that out, even if we don't agree with the Phragmites stance.
Oh yeah, I was ready to dump them right there.
I know.
But, you know.
What Phragmites?
Chatting with.
What climate change?
But you know, it's on the one hand, so they read that one line in this geosynthetic
Yeah, no, they
report.
quoted it and threw it back in our faces.
Right, and the other is like, didn't seem to read that carefully and pay attention to like the water lilies, et cetera. There are also big issues.
I guess I had another way of looking at this, right? So, Solitude has given a really well thought out proposal that talks about using multiple applications of multiple products to get to an end result. Okay. Do I think that's necessary? Well, it certainly sounds like it makes a lot of sense. At the same time, All Habitat says, you said you wanted to manage water milfoil and fanwort, so we're going to use Sonar 1, which is effective on both of those. It comes in pellets, which we dump in, and we put on an application, and then we put on a second one.
And maybe a third, maybe a fourth.
And I guess, oh, by the way, we're going to do testing over a period of a number of different months. They actually give better information on their testing protocol than the other. Okay?
Yeah, I know.
And they say that they're going to achieve the same goal. So I guess my feeling would be that we're in a tricky spot. I guess actually, no, sorry, let me rephrase that. Our goal is to get to an end, and both companies promise to achieve it. Okay, so that's important, right off the bat, right? So, because you can put in cabinets in a house, and some are one quality and they're worth a lot of money, and some are another quality and they're worth a medium amount of money.
Right.
But at the end of the day, both houses got cabinets. This is the removal of 90% of the stuff that's in the pond. Okay. So if they both say they're going to do the same thing, 90% is 90%.
Did you read the statement of guarantee, which All Habitat I don't think has.
I don't think they don't. They say they will strive
Yeah, they
to
strive.
maintain the performance objective of
But not
90%.
really. I mean, I like the last
But
sentence,
Solitude
right?
said it guaranteed.
In the event that this level of control is not reached, SLM will retreat the targeted vegetation at no additional cost to reach the level of guaranteed control, which is 90%.
Which page is that?
4.
Page 4 at the top.
Last sentence.
Wait, but
First paragraph.
so actually, believe it or not, I didn't even see that part with the strive. What I read was this: a project under reporting and submittals A project completion report will be submitted at the end of the season that will include pre- and post-treatment inspection data, overlay of GPS-generated pre- and post-treatment plots, a calculation of the pre- and post-treatment areas, and a notarized statement that the eradication goal of 90% has been achieved.
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay.
And where was the stratified?
On the last page. 1, 2, 3, fourth bullet point. Okay, so here's what I would say. The two are remarkably similar. They offer to end with the same result. One offers multiple treatments of many different products, and the other offers a couple of treatments of the same product. And I guess this is where it gets, one of the reasons that we wrote it this way, and I remember this from the last time, is that basically if they both offer to get to 90% and do all the testing that they're supposed to do, and one is $50 and the other one is $100, then get the same result for 50, why would you spend 100?
Yeah.
So I would say, without waking George up, that they appear to be
George is really awake.
that they appear to be effectively equal in the end goal. Solitudes is much more professionally put together, speaks to our specific ponds, and gives very good information about what they do. And so I would say that at the end of the day, I would rather use the Solitude company to do the work. However, I would like to see the difference in price before I said which one I would absolutely choose, because price is the third part of our decision. You will evaluate the bids, wide discretion as to who's responsible and responsive. They both present a responsible and responsive package. But once you've set down the rules, you must apply them consistently and fairly, and then for the bids, select the best price bid from a responsible and responsive bidder. So, if we had 10 bids and 6 of them were completely and wildly inappropriate, then we would apply the price standard across 4. We have 2 bids. They both appear to be responsible and responsive, and so therefore we can apply the price standard as our next method. Anybody have any? Does that make sense?
Just to summarize what you said, the only thought that I had coming into this was that All Habitat did not put together as strong a proposal, and there's no reason they couldn't do the job they set out to do.
Right, and I think that's where I'm coming down to, which is they both talk about putting stuff in the water. One says all the different ways they're going to put it in the water and the different things and how this will be better for you, and the other one says we're going to kill all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, they both say we'll supply a thing that says 90%. I'm not picking on All Habitat, but they just didn't go to the same level of detail that Solitude did.
Yeah, and they've got many more typos.
Now, I will say this much. All Habitat, by using just the one type, doesn't address some of the things that Solitude does with the vegetative matter and the water lilies over in Pine Meadow Pond. So there is, if you back them up that way, there is a true benefit to the Solitude proposal. So the only question is, what is the cost for that benefit?
I have a question for Bonnie.
Yes.
In
Pass that
all
back so it
of
doesn't get
your
lost.
study
Thank you.
of the past effort, what was the primary active ingredient used?
I think it was sonar.
It was sonar.
Yeah.
Sonar and reward.
Yeah.
So sonar,
Isn't reward diquat?
Yeah,
That was
diquat.
yeah,
so
those are the
sonar
general.
and reward are the two chemicals that the potential plant assemblages will have developed resistance to.
Well, that is a potential, but I don't know that any of us are qualified to speak to that.
Yeah, I don't.
I am.
Well, the only thing I can say
I've
is
done a lot of work with this kind of thing, and basically, control gets harder the more generations of plants you apply the same stuff to. Your efficacy goes down, maybe from 90% to 75% is as high as you can go. And so that particular detail, it's been a while,
It's been 4
Yeah,
years.
it's been 4
So,
years, yeah.
Hopefully won't matter. But if the,
No, but that's a very good point.
Um,
That's a very good point, and something that we've never even really discussed. Primarily because we're not treating year after year after year after year after year.
Right.
I will say this much. So we were talking about something very similar to that. My friend's mother-in-law's place down in Blackstone, and we were on the pond, and we were talking about it. They treat every year. There isn't a lily pad in that pond. There's a spot of, and it wasn't even frag. It was almost like pussy willow up on the back, And
Did you
there
grab
was
it? Did you grab it?
I couldn't. I was I stayed in the kayak.
Oh my lord.
The point is that there wasn't a floating plant in that pond. There was nothing.
And that's a worry. No, this worries me because
Yeah,
I
Jess,
don't
I don't know. Are
I
you
don't
okay?
want to see
Feel
a
worried.
lot of the see, I should be in bed now because
I was at the office at
has
7 this
shut
morning. I'm exhausted. Right. So
the lilies.
you don't want to see the lilies all
the
die.
lilies. I don't want to see the lilies die off.
Well, they're going to,
Because-
but not to the extent that you would
It'll grow
imagine.
back, probably.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, they don't die off entirely
No,
anyway.
but there's a lot of native stuff around the edges that I don't want to.
Well, it'll suffer
don't
by
wanna
the
s-
things that we're killing anyway. So whether it suffers by poisoning or suffering by crowding.
Yeah, but okay, so when we say 90%, right? That's a lot. 90% is a lot, right?
No, not
That's-
really.
that's is
Well-
it just the invasive? Because I mean,
Yeah,
they,
90% of the target
these
species.
guys actually really state that they want to get rid of the invasives, but spare the natives.
Sure.
These guys don't really say anything about sparing the natives.
Well, I think what they do is they speak very specifically about how the specific plants are affected by the specific things they use.
Okay, all right,
So
all right.
I no. I believe me. Unfortunately, Brian, you were not here for the first 71 meetings we debated this in the past, and we always
think
came
I'm
back to the
okay
same thing. None of us are happy with this. Nobody's happy with this. That's the number one thing to mention.
The
What's that? The natives. I heard that. I let it go.
Connie wants to.
Bonnie
It's to
voted for
preserve
no.
the natives, so you get to stay. So the long story short is that we don't like doing this. We wish there was a different way to do it. However, I feel very comfortable saying that based upon the criteria that we looked at and the fact that we've done this before and the fact that both of them have done it before, that quite frankly, they are both capable, both state that they will meet the objective, both state that they'll use herbicides to do it.
Yeah. They're going to
And-
get in a boat and dump some stuff in the water and call
Dump
it
some
good.
stuff in the water and go home and do a bunch of testing afterwards. All right.
I'm going to start cleaning up.
No, that's fine, because I think we're going to... Did you have anything huge that you wanted to discuss under your updates?
I've got one or two things, but you guys can pick up the bylaw thing because I have to post that before the next meeting.
125, sold.
Alright.
You want one?
Anything else?
Yeah.
What?
The thing with Robert about the fees, did you guys resolve that?
Yeah,
Alright.
I sent him an email. I didn't hear a thing back from him.
No.
No. That's right. He did get back to me and he said that he was
said you
on
guys
board
were
with
playing
it.
phone tag.
No, he sent me an email. He said he was on board with it. Don't worry about it.
Alright. So yeah, finish up that, fill Takashi in, and I'll be back and I'll tell you what I've got on my regular updates.
10 minutes?
Yes, we can do minutes too, but I really want to be out of here by 10:15. I'm freaking exhausted,
I
and
would love to.
Bonnie doesn't remember who she is.
That's,
Get her a name tag.
George, I think George and I both.
Which is-
Well, do we have to do, do you want to just take a quick vote of where everybody stands now and then look at
Oh.
the price proposal at our next?
yeah, but do we have the price proposals here?
No, I think,
I thought that said that they were in the office and we'd get them after.
right.
So, okay. So, well, why don't we start? Does anyone, so let's do it this way. Does anyone prefer solitude over all habitat? So 3. Does anybody? 4. Okay, no, don't worry. There's a follow-up. Does anyone prefer all habitat over solitude? Okay, so it's really 5 to none for solitude. However, the caveat is that both purport to do the effective job that is required and both purport to have technical specialists who will apply the material and then do the testing. So at that point, while I would prefer Solitude over All Habitat based upon the extensive proposal they put together, I need to see a price proposal because we have two, as the state law states, responsive and responsible bidders. Neither proposal is thrown out. Both proposals are valid. We need to see the price proposal to make a final decision. If Solitude came in at $1 million and All Habitat was $50, it's no question.
Right,
Yeah.
and I think Robert's got the price proposals still.
Yes, no, he has to.
Right. So-
Sealed.
So there's not much more we can do.
Right.
No, that's all we can do right there.
Right.
Who do you pick? Solitude.
Solitude,
Except if their price is ridiculous.
right.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
To speak plainly.
right,
Okay. You know what? I bet we can burn through those minutes
that's what I was
right
thinking.
now because I know it was going to drive you nuts if we left
Well,
without
it's
doing
just
them.
that we-
Don't even. It would. It's fine.
We do have.
I understand
We do
why.
have a reading audience.
If you lost him, it's fine. We can start over.
Right there. I'm here playing this one. but I'm
Jeez.
done.
3 out of 5 ain't bad. We've been here a while.
Thank you. Okay. First meeting minutes that are in here are from 12/8. How did we not do meeting minutes since 12/8?
We've been a little busy.
Oh my goodness. And yeah, Mr. Farnsworth, I remember that. Sweet bubbling Moses, huh? Yeah, Line, single house, Jonathan Drive. Yeah, I really didn't like that one. Okay. Did anyone have any issues with the 12/8 meeting minutes?
I sent some typos to Jess, but
12/8.
yeah, just as you send them, I try to respond immediately.
Right, but I actually, in the future, I think because there were a few changes in wording for the January one. So I think all changes from anybody, we discussed this in CPC, should be done here,
Mm.
so.
Well,
Fair
if it's a, so I guess the difference is if it's a typo between effect and effect.
That can be-
Generally
different
speaking,
one.
those are the ones I
But
find.
changes in wording would be here.
Fair
Okay.
enough.
I didn't have any changes. Well, there is an
The
effect.
sentence.
There is an effect. All right, I am good with the 12/8 meeting minutes. Does anyone have any changes or alterations to the 12/8 meeting minutes?
No.
Okay, I would accept a motion to approve the 12/8 meeting minutes as fabulously written.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pass those back, please. Next are 12/12. Confirmation of agenda, excavator. Oh, yeah. RFP. Da-da-da. Boy, that did go fast, didn't it? Any changes to the meeting from 12/12?
Is that a Monday?
It sure
Yeah, it
was.
was one of the specific bylaw one.
I was not there, so.
Then I would accept your motion, George, to approve the meeting minutes from 12/12 as fabulously written.
Okay.
Unless you don't agree.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Abstentions? Step back, please. Meeting from 1/12. No, you have to read it. You.
I had,
Oh, sorry.
Have you read it?
he wasn't there.
Oh, okay. You have read it.
I was unfortunately busy.
Motion to approve the minutes from 112.
Was that the regular
Were
meeting?
you there?
Yeah.
So moved.
Actually, should I make a motion? No, I'm sorry. Should I ask someone to make a motion?
I suppose you should.
Would someone like to make a motion to approve those meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Excellent. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Abstentions? 1.
Who moved and who seconded?
Move. Second.
Oh, mixed up.
Yeah.
Next.
It's late.
Oh, no.
Meeting minutes for 117, at which Takashi was not available. This was our meeting about the bylaw. Okay.
But George, did you, oh, you got it.
what now?
Well, Brian had some wording
Which-
changes
Oh, yeah.
for 112.
Too late.
Too late.
Are they substantive?
I don't know, you can, I put them
No,
in-
no, it's already been voted on.
Okay.
Okay. And then 117, any questions on 117? I would accept a motion to approve the meeting minutes from 117.
So moved.
Give me 1 second. Oh, yeah, you're right, you weren't here.
Oh,
You're right.
Second, I second. Second.
Thought she missed all the fun.
Any further
No.
discussion?
Oh.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Abstentions? Okay. Now. Okay. The bylaw.
So Jess did read through all this, and the only detail that she and I both couldn't remember is if you guys merely floated the idea of having the buffer zone be 125 feet, or if you agreed that you wanted the buffer zone to be 125 feet in this proposed bylaw.
Well, first off,
I would not agree to that.
Under jurisdiction.
Here's under jurisdiction.
All the other changes in red,
Oh.
Jess and I are in agreement that that's what we said.
Well, I would actually just get rid of another section on,
is it in jurisdiction?
yeah, just because we have land subject to flooding or inundation by groundwater or surface water, land subject to flooding, collectively, the resource area is protected by this bylaw. That sort of, I don't think we need flooding there. Because I think the second reference to flooding is just, starts
For
off
the
in
ocean?
relation to the
Yeah.
ocean. So, this flooding can go?
Oh, you're saying in this
Land
case,
subject
flooding is
to-
redundant.
Yeah.
Because we say lands-
Water.
Yeah, lands adjacent to resource
Oh, yeah.
areas known as the riverfront, period.
Yeah.
Land subject to flooding or inundation, and land subject to flooding. Yeah, I see what you mean.
That's redundant, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
And that makes
I'll
perfect
scratch
sense.
the and level.
Yeah.
No, we want collectively the resource area protected by this bylaw.
Oh,
as
well,
of
that
note
part,
4.
yeah, that part you can
I
have.
want to drop.
so we can drop
But this
everything from the
lands-
semicolon all the way to
Yeah.
flooding and leave collectively in the
Right.
paragraph.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
and that doesn't hurt anything whatsoever.
Right. That's a leftover from the salt water.
Yep. Right.
Good catch.
Excellent. Yeah, that just comes and goes. That's just title. All right, so on 125 we have a Takashi nay. Bonnie,
Nay.
2.
Aye.
So you don't want 125?
That's what we're doing. This is very simple. You,
No.
and
I'd
it's
rather
done. All right.
stick- We're sticking with
100.
100.
Anything else to adjust on this?
I don't believe so. Otherwise, Jess and I both have the rest lined up.
I went through the fees. We only really had to cross off that one line to end that. Is there anything else with this bylaw that you wanted to discuss?
We need to delete the notes at the end and all the references to the notes.
That wouldn't be helpful.
Well, sure, George. Just make that all neat and tidy.
So,
Cool. So then I will do that and get that posted up on the web in the next couple of days.
And our next meeting is February 9th. When is our next meeting for the bylaw?
What did we do? We picked Tuesdays or Mondays for that?
I'm sure we picked...
I think we picked Mondays.
well, it's not February 6th.
It is
It's...
February 13th.
Well, that's interesting because it's not in my phone.
Yeah.
Can I see?
yeah, 15.
If that's what that says, that's what that says. That's what everybody else in town thinks.
That's weird. I wonder why I didn't add it.
Why, Bill? Why? Why?
Oh, I apologize. I totally neglected to bring down the bill for this. It's $256 we owe Susan.
We owe who?
Town clerk.
Do you want to grab it while we vote on it?
Yeah.
For the printing.
Oh.
Oh, gotcha, yes.
I would accept a motion to pay the bill in the amount of $256 and whatever change that Brian is about to bring down to us for our mailing for the bylaw meetings.
So moved.
Second.
And this is paid to,
I guess
Town
we'll see it when it shows up.
okay.
All right. I'm expecting, unfortunately, this doesn't have hours on it.
Right.
So it doesn't say it's at 7 o'clock. It just says it's on the 13th.
Right.
Oh, boy. All right. I'm putting from 7 to 9 in my phone.
We may not have many people show up,
Mm-mm.
or any.
Or any.
There's an entirely good possibility.
February
of
13th?
Mm.
Yes. You worried about Valentine's Day? It's the day before. Or it's the day after.
No, well, I definitely have a meeting on Valentine's, but I,
You have that in your phone?
Wasn't that sweet? No, I'm boycotting again this year. Last fun.
Conservation Commission meeting on Valentine's.
Hey, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
just go lock the door while we're
Oh, sure.
advocating.
I will try to be there on the 13th, but
Oh.
Well, you do what you need to do. Money first, always.
well, unfortunately, Beth has late night meetings on Monday nights.
Fair enough. All right. No, last year I went to.
I'm surprised you knew it so easily. I'm surprised you knew it so easily.
Oh no, it came up. It came up. No, last year I went to Bully Boy in Boston for Valentine's Day. We went to Bully Boy and then we went to Trillium, and it was a great day for whiskey and beer.
Oh, Trillium.
You know where it is?
Mm-hmm.
So there's the one downtown, but there's an even bigger
There's
place
one
where
in
they brew
Ca-
beer in
In
Canton.
Cambridge.
Canton.
Canton.
Canton. That's where their real brewery is.
Oh.
Huge. Huge.
But
And then,
there
of course, there's Merrimack Ales and Lowell.
I thought there was one in Cambridge now.
So Olivia looked like she had a good time
Oh.
on Saturday.
Oh, at the march?
Yeah, that's awesome.
She had a blast.
That's awesome.
It was a good time.
Yeah, it was a good time.
I was trying to figure
Yeah.
out where the people were based on
Mm.
looking at people's photos of
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so what are
Yeah.
the signs you could see?
Right, right,
We
right,
didn't want
right.
to get stuck in the middle of
Yeah, there was
a
a-
real big throng.
Yeah.
So we never crested the hill
You never
Yeah.
did, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we,
coming
yeah.
up from the park.
Yeah.
With Olivia,
What? Just a crush of 175,000
I
people.
know. And I don't like big crowds either.
Yeah, I was pretty shocked because I do the corporate challenge every year, and
Yeah.
that's like 20,000 people.
Yeah.
And it's a big group of people,
Yeah.
you know.
This
It-
this was a.
This is-
I'm glad we went.
No, I'm glad I went too. I went too.
No Lansing is great hall. Okay. Finish putting these in while we wait for him. Does anybody have any updates they wanted to discuss before we go?
Do we need to send this to town council?
I'm assuming he is, yes. Our discussion was finish, and then it has to go to town council.
No. Should we, does that need a vote?
Oh. Would someone like to make a motion to send the bylaw to town council?
So we'll,
Or, I'm sorry, excuse me, the amended bylaw.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Great. Good thinking. I mean, I just thought we were going to do it, but sure.
it's gonna cost money.
Well-
no, Robert said it's in his budget,
Yeah.
so it won't be charged to us.
Mm.
Pretty great, right?
Did these get sent to Pond and Dam?
I don't believe so, but could invite them to our next meeting to let Chuck know.
Yeah, I think that would be
$204.
So
wise. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Brian, next meeting when we discuss and open, can you invite Pond and Dam
sure.
to that meeting? Because and can we make sure that they were sent these as well? That Chuck was.
I don't know if I can. I can. I'll ask Robert. 'Cause I
Yeah.
don't know what because we got these all paper. We didn't get electronic. I'd have to scan them and email them over, but since this was done in this setting, I think it's okay for me to share.
Okay.
Because
Well, once they're opened, it's
Yeah.
public record.
So-
Yeah.
So that's no question there.
Yeah.
If you wanted to, I
But
wouldn't.
in terms of inviting them and like co-hosting, I don't know because they weren't involved in this process officially. If they, anyway, just little things.
But we can get their input.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't only have to send them like the first six pages of each one.
Right.
They don't need to get
Yeah, they don't need
The whole
resume.
package,
Right.
right? The whole.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, you could send them the first 6 pages and then tell them that the rest of it, if they want to come get it, they can see it.
Down here. Yeah. They can. Down
Okay,
here.
so
Yeah.
since we're already way past,
And.
so
and-
we had a motion on the table to approve.
We were the insert.
We're the $204.
Yeah.
So $204 paid to
Uh,
town clerk.
I suppose so. Yeah. Town clerk's office.
Okay, because it was billed to the town clerk's office.
Yeah.
So $204 paid to the town clerk's office, or whatever office here in town is paying the bill and needs it to go to them.
Someone,
Kind of covered it that way, I hope. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So I'm going to circle the 204.
And we also made a motion that once you clean up the bylaw, that should go to town council too.
Okay, but it's going to the internet first because that was the plan that's written up in that.
Oh, no, that's fine.
Yeah.
The idea is it goes to town council just to make sure that we haven't missed anything. I mean, at this point, I don't know what...
So just, I mean, in terms of process, do you want to do that now or do you want to wait until after public input happens?
Well, do we have enough time? So let's say that we...
isn't it, it's standard for town council to review the whole warrant
Yeah.
when the selectmen do
I
it.
mean, this just feels like asking to pay more
Well, so
money.
maybe that's why he... no, so maybe that's why he said it would get taken care of as part of his budget, because it's part of the town warrant. Okay.
Fair enough. Cool.
So we're not sending it to town council.
Well, eventually.
Yeah, just not at this point.
That's fine.
Not until we're closer to the end.
Council.
Okay. What did you have, sir?
So in the update section, I did get all the court documents related to the town forest we lost in the 70s. And the town forest was located at the intersection of Half Moon Road and Snake Hill Road. So 2 paper roads meet in a wood, and there's a town forest up there. And it was Clow's goat pasture in the past. The tax-taking process was not carried out in the manner it was supposed to have been. And so when the heirs to the land sold their interest to somebody else, that somebody else knew better and took the town to court, and the town actually went to trial over this and lost.
So basically, it was a fix.
All the town's arguments had to do with owning and operating, managing the land for 30 years, and that nobody noticed and nobody cared, and why all of a sudden does this matter? And the court basically said that all is irrelevant. Like, no matter how well-founded it may be, it's irrelevant because you took the land badly. So give it back. And so that's...
I stand by my statement.
Yeah. So that, that happened. But that's nice. That's good closure on that mystery.
How many acres was that?
Depending on the source, somewhere between 30 and 50. The whole parcel was 50, and we may or may not have had claim to the whole thing.
Oh, there you go.
Currently, Cal owns it. He bought it for $20K.
Cal. GPR Cal?
More.
More.
Oh, Calvin.
Calvin. So there's that. In other land news, Steve Slarsky, the part-time firefighter, we put a beaver deceiver in his pond.
Yeah.
He owes the town back taxes on that land. The town is not going to get the money from him. He has instead suggested that he would be willing to donate the land to the town to the commission if we put up a plaque and name it after his father.
Where is this?
So you're talking about the land to the side of the fire department?
Yeah. The ponded area.
So you know right across from the Parthenon Pizza place?
Yeah.
So how much of that is his?
The pond, basically.
How many acres?
I want to say under 10, like 8.9 or 7.8 or something like that.
Interesting.
So that would actually. So I've checked with Robert and I've checked with Lisa. Lisa would love that because I would get that off her books.
Okay.
And
So
Rob-
it's no cost to us.
right.
Except for the plaque.
Well, no, he'd actually he said that he would be willing to maybe buy the first one,
By
The
first.
first
the first
plaque.
plaque.
Okay. There's gonna be a second plaque?
Well, you never know,
Oh,
vandals and such.
Yeah, drunken teenagers.
And then the town won't have to go through the legal fees to.
Chase him down and get his money.
Well, no, they would just take the land.
Right.
And that is illegal fees and such. And so if he's willing to donate the land, if we are willing to accept it with the condition that it's, Mr. Swarovski Sr.'s meadow or Mr. Swarovski Sr.'s pond, da-da-da. So if you guys want to have an opinion or ask some questions about that, then I can take that and get the ball rolling if you'd like to accept the gift.
So, is anyone here not interested in accepting the gift?
No, I don't know. I mean, that's all. I think he tried to give it to the town once before, and we decided, why should we take swampland when he's not going to build on it anyway?
I guess-
between buying swampland and receiving it as a gift.
Well, no, but to George's point, right, he's selling it. He's selling it in response to his tax bill.
Right.
I guess there's only two things I'd want to see before we went forward, and we could see them on the 9th. I'd want to see a plan of the amount of land we're talking about. Is there anything that can be done with it, walking trails, anything at all?
Yeah.
So that's number one.
Yeah, it's
So you wanna see him on the
Oh.
9th?
No, we don't need to see him. We just need to see a plan of the land. So, so that we can talk about it. It'd be great if we could put it up on the screen here, all marked up. And then the second thing that I'd want to know is, what is the value?
Yeah, and Lisa's going to get me the numbers on his back taxes.
Okay, because much like George, let's say that he owes $1,000 in back taxes and he gives that to the town as a gift, then I would say, well, that's wonderful. If he owes $50 million in back taxes to the town and the whole sellout is that gift, then the answer is absolutely not. So, not because I'm against the idea of the gift, but just because that's people in this room's tax money.
Right. But to be fair, Lisa, her first response was thrilled because the bother and the time involved in legally taking it is significant.
The
Well,
cost of.
I am happy that we're
So-
making her life easier. However, it doesn't change my personal motivation to make sure that we get fair value.
Fair enough. So the town report is coming up, and the email just went out about how to format that and such. George, you did that last time.
Yeah,
Do you want to do it again?
sure,
Okay. Did you get that email?
yes.
Okay.
And I'll do the figures, give you the figures.
Figures.
The figures.
Figures.
Although to be fair, I might want to add something to it
Oh,
because
I was
after
actually
going
going to say,
through,
I really much appreciate George putting it together to send to you so that you can finish it.
yeah,
Because
because
that was during our voluntary days.
yeah, especially because reading through the town reports, the value of knowing what the commission did every year, I very much appreciate that. So in 50 years, I hope somebody appreciates me saying this.
Well, if you saw the old books and you saw how terrible the covers were, you'd understand why. It'd be good to make the content worthwhile.
And other than that, just sort of cranking away on the database work and more file cleaning because it turns out that Pete was fairly conservative, which is fine. But there's more to be done. And I've sent out 7, maybe 8 COC letters
Great.
about like, hey people, what's up?
That's the beauty. That's the whole point. Let's get to the point where we are actually caught up with our stuff.
Yeah.
How's
And
it get any better than that?
I've been talking to Steve Mulaney a lot about some of the old outstandings and some of the old that were extended in like the original phase 100-0213, which we denied and were superseded on the superseded order of conditions.
Elizabeth Estates.
No, Ridgeview, the reconstruction of Snake Hill, 100-213.
You didn't deny that.
Yeah, you did.
No, it would have been before us. What year was that?
99. Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah, it was before me.
Well, the royal you had.
No. I've only been involved in a couple of denials, and they were all with the same man. So,
But that even he's sending me and filling in some of my knowledge gaps as well. So it progresses.
Yeah, I think that's one of probably the projects that made his office.
I don't know what else his office could like. Just looking, his name is on everything. Anyway, and other than that, yeah, that's about it.
That's perfect. We did a, what was your item again that you had asked about? I'm sorry, before. I just didn't, but maybe you didn't. Anyway, I thought you would ask about something when Brian had gone upstairs and we talked about it. I just didn't want Brian to miss it. I just can't remember what it was.
Council?
No, it was something else.
Oh, I do want to just while we're here, Jess and George, do you want to bring up anything from last night?
Whoa,
Just there weren't
about
very
last
many
night?
people there.
What's that?
There weren't very many people there.
Oh,
Master plan.
What was
yeah,
last
yeah,
night?
yeah.
Master plan?
No, that Alan Minoyan had that interboard thing.
Oh, yeah, I was, yeah.
Unfortunately, no. I had kids, and I ended up doing something, and we ended up. And I afterwards we got home at like 8:30, and I looked at I saw the email, and I'm like, oh crap. How was the food?
It was good.
Damn it.
And that was just a social event.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye.